Folks? Yeah. Well, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if my mic's on, welcome to the Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 Board of Education meeting. We have all trustees present. We begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd like to stand and join me, please do. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, we have lots of fun recognition tonight to begin our meeting. Dr. Macheski.
We do. Our first item of recognition this evening is to honor our Troy District graduating class, our retiree class of 2023. So with that, I'd ask Mr. Harris to come forward.
And we have one for everybody. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Macheski, Mr. Smith, members of the Board of Education. It's that time of year again. Every May board meeting, I get up here to talk about the wonderful work of a group of our workforce that have put in a ton of time and dedication over the courses of their careers, and this is a small moment in time where we get to honor them publicly here as a school district for their years of service and their dedication to the Troy School District. We had a nice reception for the last half an hour in the computer lab behind us, and I think a lot of them are going to go out and celebrate tonight after this meeting. Dr. Macheski already gave some words, but we've got 752 years of service walking away from the district at the end of this year. So it goes without saying that's hard to replace, but that's the work of the Employee Services Department that we'll be working this spring and summer and finding the next opportunity for a group of teachers and staff. So this is our opportunity to allow them to be embarrassed and walk across the stage and have their name read and go over and see Mr. Smith here and get a small token of our appreciation for their service to the district. So without any further ado, I'm gonna go alphabetically here, and we've got some retirees not in attendance tonight, but I'm going to read their name, where they work, and how long they've worked for the school district. So I'm going to start with Ms. Karen Barnowski, teacher, TSD preschool, dedicated employee since 2003. Marianne Belleville, teacher, Wass Elementary, dedicated employee since 1996. So we've got all the employees up front. You can come and shake hands. And Sharon Bordeaux, Secretary, International Academy East, dedicated employee since 2011. Monty Clary, Counselor, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 1985. Scott Chrysilius, teacher, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 1990. Robert Dowd, assistant principal, Athens High School, dedicated employee since 1996. Christine Ferguson, teacher, Athens High School, dedicated employee since 1994. Maxine Japovich, paraprofessional, Martell Elementary, dedicated employee since 2002. Jill Kelly, teacher, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 1996. Tony Lucci, teacher and union president, Athens High School, dedicated employee since 1996. Carolyn Maher, teacher, Watts Elementary School, dedicated employee since 1990. Diane Miller, secretary, Boland Park Middle School, dedicated employee since 1995. Joseph Mosheri, teacher, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 1994. Melanie Morey, principal, Barnard Elementary, dedicated employee since 2014. Betsy Murphy, teacher, Hamilton Elementary School, dedicated employee since 1994. Carolyn Murtaugh, teacher, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 1999. Barb Pangle, secretary, Hill Elementary School, dedicated employee since 2006. Sherry Parks, teacher, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 1988. Mary Pepoy, secretary, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 2000. Ellen Podeswa, social worker, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 2008. Deanne Quilliams, teacher, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 1988. Virginia Riolo, teacher, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 2004. Mark Sakic, teacher, Morse Elementary School, dedicated employee since 1999. Chuck Steltenkamp, teacher, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 1984. Dr. Macheski mentioned earlier, Dr. Steltenkamp is the valedictorian of this class for years of service this year. Nancy Stone, yeah, Chuck. Nancy Stone, teacher, Larson Middle School, dedicated employee since 1986. Richard Eubank, teacher, Baker Middle School, dedicated employee since 1987. Michael Webster, teacher, Troy High School, dedicated employee since 1999. Jeremy Wan, principal, Bemis Elementary School, dedicated employee since 2010. And last but certainly not least, Rebecca Yatuma, teacher, Smith Middle School, dedicated employee since 2001. All right, and with that, these are all the people that are going to have a very exciting and fun June 16th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Next on the agenda is our student spotlight. Mr. Butcher, if you're in the house, and you are.
Yeah. Try to kill me.
Thank you, Dr.
Good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Macheski, and thank you to our Board of Education. When I imagined having Katie Redmond here for a student spotlight, I thought it was going to be in relation to her incredible abilities as a singer. And if you've ever seen her with the Athens Theater Company or at our festival last weekend, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But as it turns out, there's another passion that this Athens senior has been pursuing. And so, I'm excited to present here tonight a video that Katie has directed and edited. When we talked about what kind of video she would make, Katie really wanted to do something fun. Now, let me ask you, what's more fun than visiting a kindergarten classroom? How about visiting multiple kindergarten classrooms? It's exhausting, but yes, a lot of fun. We both would like to thank Principal Jansen at WASP, Principal Wallace at Waddles, and Principal Paulus at Hill, along with the kindergarten teachers in those buildings for accommodating us to make this video a reality. It's rather poetic in a way that one of the last things Katie will do as a high school senior is make a video about kindergarten. I'm always impressed by a senior who isn't already totally checked out by their last couple of weeks. I'm happy to see her pursue this relatively recent passion she has discovered, and am hopeful that this experience will inform her future pursuits. Katie will be attending Grand Valley State University to study communication and to continue engaging in her love of the performing arts. She is a creative and multi-talented student, and I applaud her mindset of continuing her education from every angle and medium that is provided to her. Thank you again to our Board of Education for a full year of opportunities to share this work with you. It really means a lot to these students and to myself. Katie, this is my least favorite part because it's hard for me to say. I appreciate all of your hard work. It has been a pleasure to know you and to laugh with you, and I will miss you. So congratulations on your upcoming graduation. I wish you all the best on your next adventure.
Kindergarten sets the foundation for our students' career and education in Troy School District. The excitement and the joy in a kindergartner's eyes is not matched with any grade level. I don't care what they say.
Kindergarten is an enchanted and magical place to be.
Is it cliche to say kindergarten is kind of like a magical place?
I think kindergarten is laughter, it's love, it's learning.
It is very academic heavy. I think if we think back to when we as teachers were in kindergarten, it's very rigorous curriculum. It's reading, writing, math, science, social studies.
I remember kindergarten as coming to school, maybe singing the alphabet, baking something, and maybe drawing a picture. It is very different now.
It starts with a mini lesson where we teach a skill, and then we practice together, and then the students go off to do independent practice. So during this time, the teacher meets with students individually or in small group so we can grow their thinking.
This curriculum really lends itself nicely to that, a lot of that differentiation. You know, students come into kindergarten all over the board. We can take the kids where they need to go, depending on where they're at, and they all seem to fly and flourish.
Our kindergartners participate in the same specials as the rest of our learners. PE, so gym class, media center, art, and music class. And within all of those classes, our specials teachers tailor the curriculum to meet the needs of our littlest learners.
They get to experience different adults in the building. I think that's really important, especially in kindergarten, because we want them to know that this is a safe place and there's many people in this building that are contributing to their success. So that starts with kindergarten. That's just one more person in the building that they know that they can count on if they need anything.
This is a safe place for our kids to learn and grow, and that partnership of school and parents is critical to the success of all of our kids.
As a parent, I value how positive the experience is with kindergarten and how students are able to get a foundation in reading, writing, math, science, social studies, but also that there's a lot of purposeful play, which allows kids to build relationships with their peers, learn how to problem solve, learn how to communicate in a more authentic way.
It's the time for them to take maybe what they learned in preschool or what they're used to at home and using that to come into their own as a learner. What's really special about our district is that when we say learning for everybody, learning for all, we mean it. And the different kids that walk into our classrooms that we see every day, that's such a special thing that is so special to Troy. And I feel like it's so important for kids to be exposed to people that are different than them early on in life. And in Troy, I feel like that's such a special thing that we have that not a lot of other places might have. and value the way that we do.
Wow. Fantastic.
First time having your video shown in front of an audience. How's it feel?
Really
Yeah.
scary.
So I'm going to open for any potential comments or questions from the board, but first, if you want to say a few words, it's all yours.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, it was a really great experience getting able, to do this and stuff. And I just want to say thank you to Thomas for all the opportunities that he's provided me through the Guild. And it was fun. I don't know if you noticed the wheels on the bus playing over and over again. Yeah, 7 hours of editing.
You dream about that now? Is that
So yeah, so it was fun. So yeah.
Katie, I just want to say thank you. I have gotten to watch you perform in lots of different platforms and through different arenas, from rock and roll to ditzy secretaries. But I love watching your enthusiasm and the passion that you bring to this. What made you pick kindergarten to showcase?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was going through different things with Thomas, and I was like, I don't know, I want to do something fun and vibrant and new. And he was like, well, we haven't done kindergarten in a while. And so I said, sure. And all the kindergartners were really excited to do it. I even got interviews that hopefully I can use eventually, because it was pretty funny. They had some good answers. How was your day? It was good. I had some goldfish. I mean, just things like that. But it was fun. It was a good experience, and I love doing it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
very professional?
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Congratulations. Now that you've gone all the way to 12th grade and you see kindergartners,
Yes.
do you see yourself there? What did change from when you were a kindergartner, maybe whatever you remember,
A little bit.
versus now?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a kindergartner teacher for a little while, but that just went out the window. I watched and I was like, they're cute, but oh my goodness, it's a lot. But yeah, I wanted to do, something fun, and I wanted to go back and just see what they're up to, I mean, I haven't been to kindergarten in forever, obviously, and they're up to some good stuff. And it is a lot different than when I was in kindergarten. It is a lot, they're doing a lot more. I mean, usually, when I was little, it was just running around and then play with dolls. But now it's a lot more than that, and it was really cool. So, yeah.
Makes us appreciate the kindergarten teachers
Yes.
who are retiring after so many years. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have a
Katie, we have a
certificate.
certificate for you.
So you can practice receiving things from
Oh, great. I have to do that in like a week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, our next item is National Teacher Appreciation Week, which it appears we've missed. It was last week, but doesn't mean we don't appreciate them. The timing wasn't good. So Teacher Appreciation Week is observed nationally each year in May. This year, Teacher Appreciation Week was celebrated Monday, May 8th through Friday, May 12th. At this evening's meeting, the Troy School District and Board of Education would like to recognize all of our outstanding teachers by adopting the following resolution. May I have a resolution, please? Ms. Anay.
Whereas throughout Troy and across the country, teachers inspire, nurture, and open children's minds to new ideas. Whereas teachers promote and strengthen the principles of democratic equality, develop leaders, and encourage critical thinking. And whereas Troy teachers set the bar for excellence in education and continually exceed the highest standards in the profession, and whereas the goal of Teacher Appreciation Week is to raise national and local awareness of teaching excellence in building a better society, And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Troy School District supports the National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 8th to 12th, 2023, and encourages our schools and community to appropriately recognize the vital and changing roles of teachers in imagining and creating the better future for society.
Thank you. I have a resolution by Ms. Denny, supported by Dr. Wilson. Would anyone like to add their comments to the resolution? Seeing none, I'd just like to say I always feel these resolutions fall flat compared to how we actually feel about you. You know, every time I'm in a classroom in the district, I'm in awe at what our teachers provide to our children every day. So on behalf of the board, again, congratulations and thank you for your ongoing service to our community. So all those in favor of the resolution, please say yes. 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 Opposed, say no. All right, it passes unanimously. Again, thank you. Okay. You want me to take this one?
Yeah, you might, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
probably wanna
I
say
think
a
I
few
want to
things
take
about
this
that.
one. That's right. Our next area of recognition is the Association of School Business Officials Award. The Association of School Business Officials International's Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Program honored the Troy School District for excellence in the preparation and issuance of a high-quality, comprehensive annual final report. That's known as a CAFR. For the financial year ending June 30th, 2022, the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting has been created by ASBO International to enable business officials to achieve a high standard of financial reporting. We're very pleased to recognize Rick West, Assistant Superintendent for Business Services, Candace Moynihan, Financial Director, and the finance team for their hardworking and their hardworking staff for all their effort throughout the year and for their continued dedication to excellence. I will speak off the cuff on this because last year I was curious about, well, how many school officials get this? Are we just celebrating Rick West a little too much? And it turns out that out of 700 districts across the state last year, I believe it was 15 districts received this. And I will tell you that I think we've now gone 7, 8 consecutive years with our annual audit, thank you, I lost the word. Annual audit without any corrections. And when we talked to Plant Moran about that, I said, is that unusual? And they said extremely unusual. And it really speaks to the extreme high quality of Rick West and his team. So here's a round of applause for them. And if they're here, they should come up. We have something for them.
There's a bunch of them actually coming up. We'll get a picture of the whole group.
Come on. Come on. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. You're in the shadows. Come into the light. Come closer. Yeah.
You want to do the last? You need a slight change for you, just
Sure.
so it reads right.
Okay.
Otherwise, it didn't read right.
That's all right. Okay, our next item of recognition is a recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month. Each year, Oakland County Health Network, along with its service provider network, hosts an array of initiatives that promote community awareness about mental illness. Our schools also work hard to increase awareness and end the stigma for those seeking help. During the month of May, we've been asked to recognize, along with other school boards across Oakland County, as Mental Health Awareness Month. May I have a resolution, please? Ms. Alish.
Whereas mental health is important for our individual well-being and vitality, as well as that of our families, communities, and schools. Whereas 1 in 5 of all Americans, including children, experience mental health issues that could lead to school difficulties, physical problems, and even suicide. Whereas May 11, 2023 is designated the National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, and May 7 through May 13, 2023 is designated as Children's Mental Health Awareness Week. And now therefore be it resolved that the Troy School Board of Education hereby recognizes May 2023 as Mental Health Awareness Month and seeks to increase the awareness and understanding of mental illness and the need to support all people seeking help.
Thank you. Resolution by Ms. Alish, supported by Dr. Wilson. Are there any comments about this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes. 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 Opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes. Okay. All right, and now we are going to move forward with personnel. So it's a little bit of rearranging of the order here, and then after we do personnel, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Okay.
Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris.
Good evening again. Dr. Machewski, Mr. Schmidt, members of the Board of Education. So we've got people exiting our organization, which leads opportunities for people to enter new roles in the organization. So those days I get to do 2 things in one meeting. We've got 3 administrative appointments for the board's consideration this evening. One is the administrative appointment of our special education director, 6A. The second is the administrative appointment of the principal at Barnard Elementary, 6B, and then the administrative appointment of our principal at Schroeder Elementary, 6C. So it's my pleasure to start with 6A to talk to you about the administrative appointment of our next special education director here in the Troy School District. So for consideration of the board, I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of Ms. Sarah Young to the position of special education director for the TSD. Ms. Young is a 13-year veteran of the Troy School District, beginning first as an elementary school special education teacher at Morse Elementary School. For the last 5 years, she has served as the special education supervisor for the Troy School District. In this role, she has developed meaningful processes to bring district-wide communication and clarity, along with ensuring all district stakeholders received hands-on support from the special education teams across the district. She has also been a part-time instructor in the special education graduate program at Oakland University. She holds a bachelor's degree of science in elementary education from the University of Michigan-Flint, a master of education in special education from Oakland University, and a graduate certificate in applied behavior analysis from Oakland University. She also received her degree in special education administration from Wayne State University in June of 2018. With your approval, Ms. Young will begin her duties as special education director as of July 1st, 2023.
Thank you. We're being asked to consider the appointment of our new special education director. May I have a resolution, please? Mr. Hoff.
Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education issues a 2-year probationary administrative contract without tenure in the administrative position to Ms. Sarah Young, who will begin her duties as special education director effective July 1st, 2023.
Support.
Thank you. A resolution by Mr. Hoff, supported by Dr. Philippart. Any comments or questions about this appointment? Seeing none? Oh.
I was just going to say congratulations.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes. Congratulations. There she is.
Moving on to 6B, under personnel, consideration of the administrative appointment for our new principal at Barnard Elementary School. I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of Ms. Karen Bush to the position of principal at TSD's Barnard Elementary. Ms. Bush started her distinguished 23-year career in TSD at Barnard Elementary from 2000 until 2012, until she continued her career in various teaching positions, namely at Schroeder Elementary School, and as well as Troy Union, teaching almost every single grade from K through 5, and most recently serving as the literacy specialist at Troy Union. She holds a Bachelor's in Science in Elementary Education from Michigan State University, a Master in the Arts of Teaching and Curriculum Development from Michigan State University. She has served and led many teams and committees within the district, including the Elementary Report Card Committee. She was the Technology Chair for the TSD District, and she served on the Troy School District Teacher Evaluation Committee that revamped our teacher evaluation model a number of years ago. With your approval, Ms. Bush will begin her principal position at Barnard Elementary School beginning July 1st, 2023.
Okay, thank you. We're being asked to appoint a new principal to Barnard Elementary. May I have a resolution, please? Dr. Wilson?
Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education issues a 2-year probationary administrative contract without tenure in the administrative position to Ms. Karen Bush, who will begin her duties as principal, Barnard Elementary, effective July 1st, 2023.
Support.
Thank you. A resolution by Dr. Philpott, supported by Mr. Hoff. Are there any questions or comments about this resolution? I have one. I just have to say on a personal note that when I first joined the board 12 years ago, Karen Bush's second grade class at Schroeder was one of the first classrooms that I got to sit in and enjoy. And I walked out of there going, this is going to be a fun job, because I really had so much fun with her kids and with her. So I'm thrilled to see her appointed to a principalship. So good. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. Congratulations. Where is she? There she is.
And then last but not least, 6C, the administrative appointment of the new principal at Schroeder Elementary School. I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of Ms. Lindsay Keegan to the position of principal at TSD Schroeder Elementary. Ms. Keegan began her career with TSD at Costello Elementary School in 2006 and continued her service at Schroeder Elementary School, teaching 4th and 5th grades before becoming Schroeder's literacy specialist, as well as holding the position of head teacher for many years at Schroeder. Ms. Keegan holds a Bachelor's in Science degree in Elementary Education from Central Michigan University, a Master's in the Art of K-12 Educational Administration from Michigan State University. She has served and led many district teams and committees, including the National Blue Ribbon Program, the Multi-Tiered Systems of Support, and then the Outdoor Learning Space Coordinator Program. With your approval, Ms. Keegan will begin her principal position at Schroeder Elementary School beginning July 1st, 2023.
Okay, thank you. We're being asked to consider the appointment of a new principal for Schroeder Elementary. May I have a resolution, please? Ms. Alish.
Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education issues a 2-year probationary administrative contract without tenure in the administrative position to Ms. Lindsay Keegan, who will begin her duties as principal, Schroeder Elementary, effective July 1st, 2023.
Support.
Resolution by Ms. Alish, supported by Mr. Hopt. Any questions or comments on this appointment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes, and congratulations. Where is she? There she is. Very good. That's fun.
Thank you.
Before we break, Mr. Schmidt, I just want to say thank you to the Barnard staff, the Schroeder staff, our special education department for coming out, and all the various other administrators that are in the room today to support not only our retirees, but our new administrators. So thank you all for coming out this evening.
All right, thank you. So we're going to take about a 5-minute break. All the retirees, please go.
And our new administrators.
And our new, okay, where would you like them?
Retirees outside, please.
Okay.
And I'll meet the new administrators either outside or at home.
Okay, all right, great. So find Carrie, and thank you.
Get the pictures.
Yeah, get the pictures. We'll start again in 5 minutes. Okay, folks, we're going to dive back in here, doing a little bit of rearranging just for our students because we're working our way into finals and tests and other things. So let me start with additions and deletions.
There are none this evening?
All right, thank you, Dr. Macheski. And then we're going to move to our general consent agenda. The general consent agenda tonight consists of A, the minutes of the April 4th, 2023 Board of Education workshop, B, the minutes of the April 18th, 2023 Board of Education meeting, C, the treasurer's report for March of 2023, D, an approval of the Oakland Intermediate School District budget, E, a resolution to hold a public hearing on the proposed 2023-2024 school year budget, F, a renewal of the food service contract, and G, IA budget approval for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a resolution, please? Mr. Hoff.
Be it therefore resolved that the Troy Board of Education takes action to approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G on the consent agenda.
Thank you. I have a resolution by Mr. Hoff, supported by Mr. Hopt. Okay.
They like to be.
They like to be there just to make me sweat. Okay. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes. Okay. And then what I'd like to do is I'm going to move the student reports up. And I want to start with Nish from Troy High. And Nish, go ahead. You can introduce what you'd like to do first, and then we'll move into your report after that.
Okay, sounds good. So before I begin into what's been happening at Troy High, I'm sure all of us have been in light of recent events that happened just a couple of days ago. And just to honor the student that has unfortunately left us, I want to take a quick moment of silence just to honor him and give him the respect that he deserves. So
Maybe we could all stand. Thank you, Nish.
Okay, so things at Troy High have been, this past month, a bit chaotic due to final exams wrapping up and AP exams. So starting with Bring Your Kid to Work Day, I know our staff members had a Bring Your Child to Work Day, so it was nice as a student seeing some of the kids of our staff members running around the halls and having fun. Currently at Troy High, we are having a Spirit Week that's tied in with mental health awareness. So on Monday, we had a pajama day. Today, we had friendship bracelets and wear your favorite color. So these activities are mixed in throughout the week, and it's going to be topped off with our spring pep assembly on Friday, where we have a shortened day and a pep assembly after the school day. As of right now, we are preparing for senior events. So for many of you that you know, seniors do leave us next week. They are graduating and have their last day of school on May 24th. On May 25th, we are preparing for senior prom. And then that will be followed the following week with their graduation ceremony on June 3rd. And at that same night, Troy High will be hosting their all-night party for all the seniors. Apart from that, on May 4th, we hosted a freshman orientation at our building. So the freshmen were able to come in that evening and see the building and get a feel for what they're going to be coming into next year. And finally, with that, we wrapped up all of our AP exams. So we had our AP exam testing the first and second week of May. And that has all been wrapped up, so now we are just having any makeup exams that students may have to take, which is going to be this week and the following week after that for any seniors that may have to take any exams. Moving on to some of our recognition, we had some excellent club performances this past month, starting with our Troy High DECA team. They went to internationals, and as you may know, they took a record number of 40 students to internationals this year, which was in Orlando, Florida. And this year they had a record number of 4 people place top 3 internationally, after competing with about 22,000 students from various countries and various states. And apart from that, we also had a record number of people finish in the top 20 as well as the top 10. So a very successful DECA conference for those students. We also had our Troy High HOSA Club travel to Traverse City for their state conference, where we had around 140 members compete and had several number of them qualify for the international conference, which is going to be held in June in Dallas, Texas. And finally, our spring sports are on a roll as many of the JV team seasons wrap up and our varsity seasons prepare for their state tournaments and their district championships. We also had some very notable performances, starting with Vishwa Ravishankar, who did break our long-standing school record in the 3,200-meter run in the 2-mile track race. And recently, very recently actually, we also had Krish Gupta break the OAA Division Red record for the 400-meter dash, and now currently holds the 3rd fastest time in school history. Apart from that, that is everything at Troy High School.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. 4 people in DECA were within the top 3. I believe one person actually was number 1 internationally. Who was that?
So it was me and then a girl.
Okay, and then the other thing is that I've read about this program. It's a student leadership program at the Wharton School of Business at UPenn. It's a summer program, and it only admits 180 students from across the United States. I've heard someone at Troy High was accepted to that program this summer. Do you know anything about that?
That was also me.
There you go. Okay. Congratulations on both of those. I was dying to harass you in public about that. Okay. All right, wonderful. Okay, so Sarah, let's find out what's going on over at Athens.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking time and being here tonight. We have a multitude of news from Athens this month. First, HOSA at Athens sends off Sneha Nandawani, Jason Asirvatham, Nikita Kosika, Sanvi Kapoor, and Urwa Khan to the International HOSA competition. We also had 8 finalists, and we are very happy to see our Red Hawks flourish in medicine. On Friday, the Medical Club at Athens is hosting a How to Suture event for those interested in pursuing medicine while being assisted by Wayne State University medical students. Anatomy classes are also being accompanied and partaking in this event. Today, anatomy, psychology, and mental health classes at Athens got to hold real-life sheep and human brains to study the mind and complexity of our being. Big thanks to Dr. Fisher at Wayne State University, who is the professor there for neuroscience. This week, we are partaking in 2 different Spirit Weeks, the first one being mental health related for all grades. With this Spirit Week, we are featuring Throwback Thursday and Wear Green Wednesday to raise awareness on mental illnesses. Our second Spirit Week is Senior Spirit Week, in honor of the seniors' last full week, where we include Senior Hoodie Day, College Merch Day, and more. AP testing took place on May 1st and May 12th, or through May 12th, and we would like to congratulate all of our AP students on their hard work and dedication upon completing college classes. AP Literature classes will be visiting the Troy Preschool this Thursday morning to provide a fun, interactive, and academic carnival day for the preschoolers using children's books and activities regarding spelling, colors, and other target curriculum. Athens clubs have been very busy this month with activities such as SSAB collecting books to sort and pass out to teachers, the Mental Health Club distributing awareness pledges, and our ethnic fair, which was packed with not only the Troy community, but also people from neighboring cities like Rochester. It was beautiful seeing a plethora of people coming together to appreciate different cultures. Last week on Friday, a neurodiversity walk was held to raise awareness throughout the school. The track was flooded with students and staff all day amidst this event, and everyone appreciated it immensely. As the year winds down, we are all excited for summer and all the exciting events at the end of the year, such as yearbook distribution and senior prom, which is this Friday, and a variety of other events. Thank you all for listening and have a great night.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Sarah? All right, thank you, Sarah. Okay, and we have lost our representative from TCCHS because she's had a migraine coming on. So in her stead is the incomparable Dr. Philippart.
I will try to do her justice. So here's what's been going on at TCCHS over the last month. Mr. Flessa at his workshop class just finished working on the counseling office and is now creating a flower box for the front of the building. Ms. Leonard has utilized a grant to buy lollipop supplies to plant and create a greenhouse with her human impact of the environment class. The Women of Tomorrow had their meeting today. Students took personality tests to find out what different careers might match their interests. And then the final Women of Tomorrow meeting will take place in June, and there will be some female police officers from the Troy Police Department that will be coming and teaching the girls about self-defense. That should be a very interesting meeting. Mr. Rainwater, who is one of the English teachers, and Mr. Kravaco, one of the art teachers, created the first ever Arts, Beats, and Treats Festival. I know Dr. Wilson was commenting to Lexi about that. Students sold their art, jewelry, and treats, and then many students sang and played their instruments. Mr. Rainwater had his guitar club students play, and they did a fabulous rendition of Hotel California. And finally, senior students at TCCHS are preparing for their graduation, which will take place on Tuesday, June 13th at Troy High, and so obviously they're very excited as the school year winds down. Don't ask me any questions.
Do you want to throw out anything about Arts, Beats, and Treats?
Yeah, Arts, Beats, and Treats was a really fantastic event. You're stealing my other at the end.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I just thought it was appropriate to talk about it now.
It is. They did such a great job. It was really amazing to be able to see, especially the art Mr. K had them put, like, the students got to pick where in the building they wanted their art to hang, and so to be able to see the way that they titled it and the creative things that they did was amazing. And just to see the vibrancy of that community, it was
I heard
just
they packed the house.
It was packed, it was loud, there was lots of food, it was a beautiful, beautiful event.
Cool, great. And then, do we have anything from IA? No, you're, okay, all right.
She
And
graduated.
She's, yes, lucky her, look at her, okay, all right, great. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, all our students, and you're obviously welcome to stay. If at some point you want to tuck out, just come behind us and head out, because I know you're at the end of the semester here, so thank you for your year of service with us. Okay, so that's that. Now it puts us to public communication. Is that right? Yeah. The next thing is public communication of agenda items. We have almost 40 that are here. So we're going to do a minute and a half for each person so that we can try to work through these in about an hour. So let me I'll kind of walk through the rules for some of you who maybe have not done this before. So the board meeting is a meeting that's held in public. This is not a public meeting. It's a very strange thing to say, but because of the Open Meetings Act, essentially the work of the board, just like the work of the legislature, always takes place in public. One element of our meeting up here is that we have a lot of time for public comment. So it's not a time for a dialogue. It's not a town hall meeting. It's a chance for you to read into the record your opinion on something related to the agenda item. So we're going to do, if there's a response that's required, the board or the administration will follow up after the meeting. So what I'm going to do is, just to keep us on track here, is I will call the person who's going to speak, and then I'll call out the person who's on deck. If you want to move closer to the microphone behind the speaker so that you can then step up, that way we can reduce our amount of time in between speakers. Dr. Wilson is our handy-dandy timekeeper here. She'll give you a warning when you've got 30 seconds left, and then she'll let you know when your time is up. I would ask that at the point that you're told your time is up, that you finish your sentence and then finish your thought, and then return to your seat. Okay?
For no, like, ruckus
And
all
then,
the time.
yeah, and then if we can, hold applause, anything like that, jeering, anything. I want to be very. I want to maintain decorum tonight because we have a lot of people that are reading, and I want to make sure that everybody's heard and that everybody's respected tonight. Okay?
Could ask if they're parents.
Right. So when I'll call when I call you to the podium, if you could let us know if you are a Troy resident and if you have children in the district. So those are the two things that we always want to know. It's okay if you don't. You can speak. That's absolutely fine. We just want to be able to understand, your position to the school district as we go through. So the first sheet that I have in front of me is a Mrs. Melissa Sawick, and then on deck is a Mr. Jeff Shaper. Good evening.
Hi. Okay, wow, first. My name is Melissa Sawicki. I'm a mother, wife, Troy resident, and engineer by degree. I'm not a part of any weird political groups, but I'm a lover of math and a believer in the honors curriculum and do not support the removal of honors math 6, 7, and 7, 8 in middle schools. I have read the rationale for removing these two honors math classes is due to the current structure not allowing for choice and movement, with tracks being determined at the end of 5th grade and the existing model prioritizing speed versus depth. Conversely, the new structure promotes creativity and collaboration at all levels and depth. What I'm not understanding is why you can't implement all those wonderful new learning ideas into the existing structure. Why change both style and structure at the same time, which is a risk to the kids and a risk to the teachers who appear to have not been consulted in this process. Troy can institute change in teaching style without removing choices. You can train teachers for more creativity and collaboration and still offer the same classes.
30 seconds.
How can you ensure kids are prepared for Honors Algebra 8 with this new structure? As a lover of math and a problem solver at heart, I ask you before you vote on this to really consider what problems you're solving and what new ones will be created by this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jeff Shaper, and on deck is A. Rocky Rakowski.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Jeff Shaper, a resident of Troy. My child graduated from Troy High. Last fall, Chris Cuss and I ran on a curriculum improvement program because the core product of TSD is lacking. Your attempt to select and implement a new middle school math curriculum shows that TSD's process is flawed and does not improve the educational experience of the students, particularly with this initiative to eliminate math honors and detract students. Other parents will talk about the flaws of the process. I will talk about the attempted justification of implementing the detracting. In my GCAM career, I had a boss who would say, "This is what we're doing. Now find me the reasons to justify it." In the workshop on page 38, you showed a study that stated that detracting narrowed the achievement gap. The abstract stated that the performance gap between high and low performance narrowed. So based on that description, it backed up what Troy School District is attempting. But it's obvious that Troy School District did not read the body of the study. Because if you had read it, you would see very quickly that it does not support. In fact, it shows flawed methodology from an obscure university in Italy, and there's a reference study called for South Korea that is particularly damning. Is this what Troy, the school board, wants for our Troy
Your time
students?
is up, Mr. Schaefer.
Okay. Well, we parents urge the board to do a course correction and reject this proposed curriculum. Do not put our students at academic disadvantage. Vote no on this curriculum.
Rocky Rakowski. On deck is Mr. Cyril Patel.
Rocky?
Who's on deck?
Rocky's up.
Rocky's up. Mr. Cyril Patel is on deck.
If we could just honor the board's request, because I can't hear either, that way it'll go a lot faster. Thank you. Board, I respect you. I'm a citizen of Troy. I'm a resident of Troy. I have a daughter that we pulled out of private school to put in Bemis Elementary. I'm excited about her future. And I respect every single one of you. Why do you not respect me and every single one of the parents here? And I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking and referencing about an email I received from the superintendent. And this email specifically says, "Let me be clear, the Troy School District has no intention of getting rid of honors or accelerated opportunities for students." But yet when you turn to the diagram shows that there's an elimination of honors classes for grades 5, 6, and 7. So you either are lying to us or you're not being straightforward with what you sent out to the populace. And I'm sorry, it's absolutely correct. And then you go on to say politically motivated groups funded by outside interests is orchestrating a campaign of misinformation here. Let me tell you, I may be a Republican, there's others that are Democrats, independents, and vegetarians. All kinds of people are against eliminating honors courses. All we ask today is delay this, punt this, show us the data, because in the most recent newspaper that you put out, you talk about transparency, you talk about listening to parents.
Your time is up.
But yet the sad part about it, there's not a single article in this paper that talks about the honors courses. It all talks about the bond. 26 videos on your website about the bond, 6 about diversity.
Thank you.
2 about curriculum.
Mr. Cyril Patel is up. On deck is Mr. Krish Mesrani. Cyril Patel. Good evening.
Good evening. So 2 weeks ago, as you know, this was the first time I ever visited a Troy School Board meeting. I came here with an open mind, and I was just kind of curious to understand what was really going on. I heard different stories, but really I'd like to focus the discussion back on really what's happening here. I'm a little concerned as to what I saw, because at the town hall that preceded, there were people from the administration who, in plain view, were texting to each other that said that let's just tell them that we don't weigh honors classes and that'll end their argument. And I'm just curious, when did this become a question about being dug in and ending other people's arguments? This is about what is best for the students and for the families of the community. When you look at Princeton Review, or any of the top college preparatory sites,
30 seconds.
they all indicate that honors and AP classes are looked at favorably. They talk about how GPAs are recalculated. This is the same methodology used by scholarships locally who do not have visibility in Detroit. So I think it's important to look at what other districts are doing. Here is the superintendent of Virginia Public Schools, appointed by Governor Northam, who said that unequivocally, we must support accelerated pathways throughout the academic curriculum. So I think we have to take that into consideration.
Your time is up.
We have to pause, and we have to think about what is best for all the families.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Krish Mathrani is up. Tony Cruz, I can't read it, is up on deck. Krish? And again, Tony Crew, I think it's Crew or Cruz, I can't see the last letter, is up on deck.
Good evening. My name is Krish Mathrani, and I'm a student at the International Academy. As an IA student as well as a junior, preparing for college, I have the experience to know the importance of honors classes. Honors classes not only prepare a student for high school and college, but also are crucial in preparing for the SAT. I got a perfect score on the SAT Math and a near perfect score on the SAT English. I'm damn good at academics and have thrived with honors classes. Just like me, almost all my classmates have done honors classes. I would like to know how many of these students don't support the change, and out of all the IA students, how many of them support the change. All of them went through honors classes, and all of them have thrived through it. Without a strong foundation in middle school, SATs and high school become more detrimental not on the student's life, but also on their mental health. A time where the SAT is getting more difficult and college admissions are becoming more competitive, why try a new curriculum and risk our futures? A good GPA is helpful, but when it comes to standardized tests and problem solving, it is not
30
enough.
seconds.
Equity should mean supporting those in need, not taking away from those who have. Right there it says, setting the standard for excellence in education. Do you think this is excellence in education without honors classes? No, it is not. Thank you.
Mr. Tony Cruz, and then on deck is Mr. Mark Gunn. Tony Cruz. And Mr. Mark Gunn is on deck.
Good evening. Thanks for providing us with a forum. My name is Tony Cruz, and I had two daughters going through the district, and their capabilities varied from standard track through honors to AP. I've also taught mathematics, computer science, and statistics at Rochester College for over 15 years, and I can tell you, I know of no subject that is more dependent on speed of learning versus capability of learning. Albert Einstein had problems with math when he was a youngster, and yet, to try to bunch all students together and eliminate these separate tracks so that you can truly teach to the speed of the student, it's a mistake. It is a mistake. And I don't know if you're trying to do this to save money. I don't know what the objective is here, but I can tell you this, from attending every single parent-teacher conference, I didn't see not one iota of difference in the quality of teachers vis-a-vis the track that they taught. To me, the common denominator in the best math teachers I saw at all levels was passion. Students already know what's so hard about math. The best teacher does a job of teaching them what's so easy about math. The passion rubs off, and the students become self-motivated learners. But it has to be done at the student's level. You cannot bunch them all together. It's just not going to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mark Gunn is up, and Mr. Carlo Toppi is on deck. Mr. Carlo
Good
Toppi is
evening,
on
school
deck.
board.
Good evening.
I also have children in Troy, but they've graduated and they're off in college or out.
Okay.
But I have been paying my taxes to support the school for 35 years. I agree with Rocky. I respect, and I know you have a very difficult job, but I know you ran as a school board member to maintain and improve the Troy schools. Troy schools had a tremendous reputation. I don't believe removing honors classes is going to help. It's going to hurt the Troy schools. You as a parent, if you're a parent, you've always wanted your student, your child to do well. Am I right? You want them to be motivated. Well, so did the 2,800 families who've signed this petition Say, look, we want the honor classes so our kids are motivated to do better. It doesn't hurt the Troy schools, it hurts us to remove these honor classes. You know, and I truly believe, in having looked at a lot of the nationwide, what the school districts are doing, if this is for inclusion, this is the wrong reason. It's absolutely the wrong reason. We have numerous minority families in this community, and to remove it from Troy schools is ridiculous. You know, what does Michigan rank? 37th in education? And by removing honors classes, you're helping, you're hurting. Maintain the standards that Troy Schools has had for years. Don't take it away from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carlo Toppi is up, and I have Barbara Dawson on deck. Mr. Carlo Toppi, and then Barbara Dawson is on deck. Good evening.
Hello. My name is Carlos Toppi, and I want to talk to Honors Math and how it fits with DEI.
Are you a parent, sir?
I'm a little confused.
Are you a resident of Troy, and do you have children in the district?
I have both 8th and 6th grade.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It sounds like a perfect match, right? This current honors track. It's inclusive. Kids are either in here or in here, right? DEI, diverse. It sounds diverse, right? Got 2 tracks. No, but you want to move it to a monolithic 1 track. DEI. You believe in that. That's all you believe in. All of a sudden now, diversity is a bad thing. It's inclusive, right? Kids can go either here or here. What's wrong with that? Nothing. But it's based on ability. Did you hear that, folks?
Speak to us, please. This is your chance to address the board.
I'm talking.
You're addressing the board, sir.
Whatever. It's based on ability.
You're here to address the board.
It's based on
Address the
ability.
board.
I'm talking.
Mr. Toppi, please.
It's based on ability. And that in the DI world is wrong. Right? You can't have 2 tracks based on ability. No, that must be defeated. That's when the DEI world, that's where equity.
Your time is up, sir.
Equity.
Thank you, sir.
Prevails.
Barbara Dawson, please.
Equity prevails, right? And with equity.
Thank you, Mr. Toppi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
We know where you stand.
Thank you.
Barbara Dawson,
Equity
please.
means, equity
And
means.
Mr. Anthony Sarna is on deck.
Toppi.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Dawson, please. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Barbara
Hi.
Dawson, and I have and had children in the Troy School District. Troy School District does an excellent job preparing students for university, but I'm afraid that the curriculum proposals are going to head opposite that direction. When my children were in middle school, I was told that the honors programs went at 1.5 times the pace as the regular programs. So you cover a 1.5 years in a year's time. It's an accelerated pace. 1.5 years for 6th grade, 1.5 years for 7th grade is 3 years. The proposal I saw only covers 2 years. So we're a year behind going into 8th grade compared to what is currently in place. So we're bunching kids in the same classroom that move at different paces. And we've had them for 6 years by the time they start middle school. We know which kids can handle the accelerated pace and which cannot.
30
So we're
seconds.
bunching them into the same math class in middle school, which is basically what we saw in the video with kindergarten math. They're all in the same room, the teacher's running around trying to cater to the needs of different students at different abilities. Middle school is supposed to move beyond that. We're supposed to take a step forward. That's the standard that this community expects to continue.
Thank you. Mr. Anthony Sarna is up. Hi, Anthony. And then, hold on, Anthony, for a second. It's Pusni, or it might be an R, Purni Gupta. Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
Hello, my name is Anthony Sarno. I
What
live
is
in
that?
Troy and attend 6th grade at Smith Middle School. I'm currently in Math 6-7 Honors with Miss Walls. I have 102% in quarter 4 and an A+ for the year. I understand that the proposed changes will not affect me since I am the last class to take Math 6 and 7 honors. But I think it would be a serious mistake to remove the math honors classes because kids have different learning needs and not all kids are at the same learning level. It is important to understand that everyone is equal and kids learn at different speeds. I personally would be bored out of my mind if my class went too slow, even for me. Now in my honors classes, sometimes I think the pace is too slow and could go faster. I have 2 younger brothers in 4th and 1st grade at Leonard Elementary, and I would like them to have the same opportunities that I have. It would be extremely unfortunate if they could be in math honors, but do not have the chance because of the proposed changes. I don't think that testing out for Math 6 is the same as taking Math 6-7 honors because when you skip Math 7, you're not learning the stuff in Math 6 that would help you in Math 7. In conclusion, I think that the changes should be made to keep both math honors classes. This will help students learn at the pace they need and keep them engaged in learning instead of frustrating them and forcing to work at a slower pace than they would like. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anthony. Mrs. Gupta, and then Yawen Lee is on deck.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Purnima Patel Gupta, and I've been teaching math since 1984. And when I started teaching middle school math, I was told that below average students go in Math 6, Math 7, and Math 8. Above average students take 6, 7 honors, 7, 8 honors, and Algebra 1. And if it's an above average student, they take 7, 8 honors in 6th grade, Algebra 1 in 7th grade, and Geometry in 8th grade. Now I hear that everything is going to change now. Why is, you guys, why are you stepping backwards and not challenging the kids? I heard her say this evening that you have to inspire the kids and not stifle them. So why are you taking a step backwards? And Troy is not a village anymore, it's a city. And we're competing globally with everybody on the earth. So why are you telling the students who have an ability to learn that, no, we're not going to teach you. We're going to just set you back. What's wrong with you guys? You can't understand what's happening in the world?
Yawen Lee. On deck is Mei Zhu. Hi.
Hi, I'm Yawen Lee, a Troy resident with 2 school-age children. I'd like to first of all thank Dr. McChesky and the board for showing willingness to listen to our concerns and answering our emails. But one central question remains unanswered. What is your data in supporting your proposed changes? On the contrary, we have seen over the past months numerous data collected by the community in supporting keeping honors classes in middle school and high school. I talked to over 20 faculty members at Lawrence Tech, and all of them unanimously showed strong support in keeping honors classes. That is data. The 2,800 petitions to to oppose removal of honors classes, that is data.
30
the
seconds.
Numerous speakers you hear today and a month ago at the meeting, 2 weeks ago at the workshop, that is data. As Troy residents, we pay hefty taxes. A big part goes to support Troy schools. We trust the board members in making the right decision that's not based on ideology, that's based on strong research and data support. If data is not there, please let's pause the vote and give us more time to discuss this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mei Zhu, and then Mrs. Amy Lau is up next. So Mei Zhu is up, and then on deck is Miss Amy Lau. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. I'm a Troy resident, and my kids go to BMIS. First, I know whatever we say tonight, you will vote yes and to pass the middle school math curriculum change. Despite hundreds of parents have talked to you, emailed you over the past few months, despite 2,800 people signed the petition, and asking to keeping the honors classes. I just want to remind you for 3 things. First, we haven't seen any data to support this curriculum change. Support the math curriculum change and support removing the English curriculum change. Second, I want to remind you, all the parents here will not give up, and the media will also see. We will see the data in 1 year and 2 years' time. What's the MSTEP score? Are more students taking the honors class or the AP class, or more students will be challenged and struggled in this change the curriculum?
30 seconds.
Third, I hope you have all by now read the San Francisco curriculum change. It takes them 6 years to realize they made a mistake in the experiment. It hurt 6 class of the coming students. I hope Troy School District will continue review every year. I hope you will take less than 6 years to make you realize you have made a mistake. Thank you.
Amy Lau is up. Amy Lau. And then on deck is Angela He. Amy, are you here?
The one who spoke is
Amy Lau?
The one who
Oh,
spoke
then,
is Amy.
okay, then the one before did not come up then? Yeah, well, we'll wait for her. Okay. It's Mei Shu.
Mei Shu? Is Mei here? There she is. Okay.
Okay, so that was Amy, right? Okay, so you take Amy. Oh, you've got that one, okay. And then Angela will be up next. Okay. Good evening. Hi.
Good evening. My name is May. I'm a Troy parent. I think you guys know a lot of parents object removal of the middle school math honors and 9th grade English honors. I also oppose the English detracting and math detracting. Tonight I come here to urge you, due to the huge arguments among the Troy parents and on the new math curriculum with the Troy School District, I urge you not rushing deciding on new math curriculums. Delayed decision, more communication will help to build
30
the
seconds.
good relationship between TSD and the resident. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela He is up, and then Miss Ashley Jennings is on deck. Hi.
Hi, good evening, board members and the school official. Thank you for being here, listen to the parents, our opinion. My name is Angela He, living in subdivision across from Troy High. I'm here to voice my disagreement with the proposed middle school curriculum changes, especially removing honor math class from 6th and 7th grade, at least not in such a fast speed mode. I want to speak my children's experience. I have 2 boys, one 6th grader at Boland, and one Troy High graduate, now just finished his 3rd year at U of M. My older boy was in honor math throughout his middle school and high school. He was also in honor English. I had to say he's not very well self-motivated, nor he is well-disciplined. He usually does his school homework 10 minutes before the class starts. And sometimes he walks into the classroom like, oh, we have quiz there. So what motivated him? It's really the honor class and later the high school AP classes kept him and also pushed him in the right track and provided challenging curriculum for him to excel. He appraised the Troy School District and the teachers for prepared him so well that he had a very easy and smooth transition during the first year in the university.
Okay, your time is up.
Thank you.
So just keep your mind open and delay the vote.
Okay.
Think about.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ashley Jennings and then Mr. Akul Ganakula is up on deck. Mr. Akul Ganakula is on deck, and Ms. Ashley Jennings is speaking. Is she here?
Yes.
Good evening.
Evening. I am a Troy resident and I have 2 students in the district. And I'm here tonight with a bit of a different perspective. I will admit that I started this process a bit of a skeptic after hearing some of the rumors and had many of the same concerns parents have here tonight. I found that the community conversation that the district posted on YouTube provided a lot of insight, and I'd urge any parents who have not seen it yet to be sure to check it out. As an elementary school parent, I was honestly shocked to find out that Troy had been cementing students pass through high school math when they're only 5th graders. I think it's absolutely appropriate to allow for the growth and development that happens in middle school before setting students' path through high school. Furthermore, a lot of the rhetoric opposed to this change centers on perceived harm from being in mixed ability classrooms. But the new plan simply extends the current structure of K through 5 math classes by 2 years with no impact on high school courses.
30 seconds.
Giving more students the chance to master foundational skills does not necessarily take anything away from other students in the class. But we're seeing some in our community stoking fear that for one student to benefit, others must lose out, and this zero-sum thinking is really a favorite tactic of those who use fear to sow division among our residents and distrust in our public school system. For any parent who has concerns about how these changes will be implemented, there are valid questions, and I urge you to seek answers directly from the professionals who have built and continue to maintain the strong reputation in the Troy School District.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Akul Ganakula, and then I have a Janice Gerling who is on deck. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. All right. So, hello, I am a senior at Troy High School. I'm Akul Ganakula. And on my way here, I saw the signs in the little loop which said that TSD's core values are 1, deep learning, and equity. These are important values that are centered in this proposal. Honors classes are foundational to the growth and deep learning of students at all ages. A significant portion of the students are in honors classes and rise to the challenges of these classes. Some in these classes don't even find it challenging. I was one of them. To remove honors classes brings them down to a level that stagnates their growth and only dampens the capacity that they have in academics. The goal with these changes is to bring equity, which should be done by helping students who struggle more, not push down those who excel. Some of you may say that test outs exist, and this is not the same as honors. Honors exist to bridge the gap in students' skill while still engaging students in an important way. Many students will lie in the gray area where test out is too much, but regular classes are too easy. Please don't bring down the students who feel confident in school in order to make the students who need more academic support feel better. Try to at least conduct a year of pilot programs which can conclude the precise and unmistakable effects of this proposal. And most importantly, make the data available publicly, and transparency will only benefit everyone, all the students, all of you guys, and it'll make everyone feel more confident in the decision. I understand the immense pressure that you are all under today, and I thank you for being board members.
Thank you. Janice Gerling is up, and then on deck is Mr. Andrew Sosnowski. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Janice Gerling. I'm a Troy resident. I also have a daughter in the district. Choices. With life comes making choices. We teach our children how to make good choices. We help them choose school studies based on their interests, their abilities, and their future goals. Our school's curriculum needs to support this. My own daughter, who struggled with math in elementary school, decided to challenge herself with honors math in middle school. She ended up excelling in it. Math became one of her favorite subjects, and she even gained more confidence in other subjects that she took later on. In high school, she decided to not take the honors math courses to make room for other challenging classes. Now, I'm sure that every student or parent could tell you a unique story about choosing what worked best for them. Having options and the freedom to choose is very important, especially in a diverse community like ours. 12 years ago, our family made the choice to move to Troy, mainly because of the school district. Tonight, as a Troy parent, citizen, and taxpayer, I am asking this board to continue to provide many choices and pathways within the TSD curriculum. Let students and their parents decide what choices best suit their interests, abilities, and future goals. Keep the middle school honors math track. Bring back honors English 9. Make the right choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Andrew Sosnowski. And Hugh Gwain Lee is up on deck. Good evening.
Good evening. Andrew Sosnowski, Troy resident. Next year I will have
one child in elementary school, one in middle school, and one in high school. Any vote on curriculum should be fulfilled with sound judgment and sober spirit. To that extent, I would like to propose the board take immediate action to amend tonight's agenda for the purpose of introducing a new policy that all members of administration and board submit to and pass a 5-panel drug test annually on the 17th of May and prior to any vote on curriculum. You owe this to our taxpayers. There's a large number of folks here in the audience who believe that anyone who would propose or support the removal of educational opportunities for 6th graders must be on drugs. Are you all on drugs?
30
If
seconds.
so, please introduce the next speaker.
Introduce the next speaker. They're not on drugs.
Are you done, Mr.
Are you done? Okay, we're going to move to Hugh Guan Lee, please. And then Mr. Kirat Patel is on deck.
Hung Guang Lee, Troy resident and 2 kids in Troy schools. It's been more than 2 months, and so many things are wrong at all levels about this detracking drama. A few examples. Number 1, little collaboration effort and consensus with the community you serve. On the contrary, when questioned, well, the political charged message to Troy parents is a disgrace. You are rushing through changes on the cost of valuable trust from Troy community. Number 2, lack of pilot data. Pilot program not even finished. Number 3, lack of assessment plan, quantitative goals, numerous indications that your curriculum team has not done their due diligence to evaluate the new textbook. Number 4, particular racial and ethnic groups are disproportionately affected. Eastern Asians, Indians, first-generation immigrants from Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Unjustified policy like this will increase racial disparity and inequality. Number 5, this is a question to everybody in this room. With all these red flags, do you think it is still a reasonable idea to approve detracking today that impacts over 13,000 Troy students? Well, I hope you are truly representing Troy communities and families. Overall, taxation without representation is never ever a good idea. Thank you.
Mr. Kirat Patel and Mrs. Tracy Owens is on deck. Mr. Kirat Patel and Mrs. Tracy Owens is on deck. K-R-I-T, K-R-I, oh, okay.
Hi,
Good evening.
I'm a parent at Troy School District. I have 4 kids. I have a student in Bemis, I have twins in Bowen, and I have a daughter that's going to Troy High. So I'm very invested in what you guys are proposing. I'd like to say that my twin boys, I love them equally. They are not academically on the same end of the spectrum. I have a son that's a special needs student, and I have a son that's in an honors class. They are not equal. They should not be in the same class. They're going into high school, but for future parents, you should be realizing that not all kids learn at the same speed and at the same ability. I came to Troy 10 years ago from Oregon. I was working for Intel, a great corporation, taught me a lot of engineering values. And when I came to Troy High, to the Troy School District, it was because of your excellence in learning and teaching. I would not make the same decision today based on what you guys are proposing. I would like you to reconsider, take some more time, and come back with a better answer to the parents that are behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Tracy Owens. And then I have a Mr. Venupapal Takapa.
I'm a parent of 3 kids in the school district. Our school administrators keep telling parents to trust them because they are the experts. However, these experts just removed English 9 to align with Lucy Calkin's Teachers College Reading and Writing Project. How is that even possible when they only provide curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade? And how can you claim to be educational experts when this curriculum has been rated as one of the worst ELA curriculums and does not meet expectations for alignment to college and career readiness standards according to EdReports. 31 states have removed this curriculum from approved curriculum lists, but Troy is going full steam ahead with not listening to the science or true experts. Board members are elected to represent their constituents. So when it comes to math or English curriculum, one would expect for you all to listen to the people who elected you. That also means doing your own research into these curriculums and not just blindly following the so-called experts or reporting false statements or making accusations about parents in the district. There is nothing more important to a parent than their child. I come here and speak to you because I know that the teachers and principals are not the ones making these decisions. I don't hold them responsible for the bad curriculum decisions because they do try to do everything they can to help my children. But I blame the leaders in this administration building and for the board for supporting these bad decisions that have and will continue to harm my child's education.
Thank you, Mr. Venupopo Takapa. And then on deck is Mr. Stephen Sheng. Mr. Venupopo Takapa? Last name D-A-K-A-P-P-A? All right, he's not here. Okay. Mr. Stephen Shen? And then Dr. Weilong Hao is on deck.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is the sixth time I come here. So, yeah, I think I'm a resident at Troy, and my son is here. He's in the Montague Elementary School. So I come here is a very simple reason, to protect his or many children, many kids' education, their choice of education, more choices. So another reason I told you before is a set example for our kids. Our rights should be protected. You should define your rights. You should fight for that. I also read, let's start with Dr. McCarthy's article. I read it again and again. This third paragraph is talking about math. And then the second sentence is talking about collaboration. Collaborate. So, 6 meetings, I come here, my observation, I do not see any collaboration.
30 seconds.
Your way is the only way. You do not take any suggestions from us. I told you, all these signs, all these things.
Sir, could you address us, please?
Very sticky. Now it's growing. Why? Because you do not compromise. That's the only reason. But today you showed a good sign of compromise, improvement. You move this agenda, public communication ahead.
Sir, your time
I give
is
you
up.
credit. Keep it up.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Weilong Hao and Mr. George Parakis is coming.
Good evening. I have 2 kids in the school district. I'm deeply concerned about the move and the direction the school district is going. Regardless how you sugarcoat the planted move, the fact is that by removing honors option, you put all the students with different learning background and readiness in the same class. Pedagogically speaking, putting all the students from different background, different learning ability will result in disastrous learning outcome. This has been well documented in the pedagogical literature. Second, the school boards, you're supposed to represent the residents of Troy, not your political belief, not your personal belief, not your ideology. Troy has a lot of highly educated people. This is a community highly valued education. Highly valued education. Removing honors class is sending a horrible message that you do not value education, you do not care about the student learning outcome. And this will set a very bad precedent for the future students. And the third, please make a real data-driven decision. So the school board, I'm sure you know and you should know how to generate proper data from our own school district. Do not naively believe other school districts. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. George Parakis. And up on deck is Chris Kuss. Hi, George.
My name is George Parakis, and I'm a senior at Troy High. I've been a member of this district for the past 13 years, and I would like to say that I am against the proposed de-leveling of math classrooms. I have found it extremely concerning that the math pilot classes have been conducted without combining the Math 6 and the Math 6-7 classes. These pilots have only shown that the new curriculum was successful, but what it failed to do is show that throwing students at completely different learning speeds into the same classroom would be successful. Why? Well, it was never piloted. Having been a student in a de-leveled classroom of a different subject, I have seen far more than any administrator how students are left behind. Every day, I see the students that easily grasp the content who are just waiting to be pushed and challenged. And I also see the students struggling with the content get left behind by their peers. It is so important that we individualize instruction, not make instruction so generalized that its value is lost on all of us. Please understand that in approving this today, you will be telling thousands of students in this district that they are all the same. You will be telling them that they do not have unique learning needs. And you will be telling them that a one-size-fits-all curriculum is all that they are worthy of. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Chris Kuss, and then Mr. William Wang is on deck. Chris Kuss. And again, Mr. William Wang is on deck. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Chris Kuss. I have 2 kids in Troy schools, and we are a family that likes math challenges. These parents, teachers, and students, and data all agree allowing children to have accelerated learning is beneficial. As stated in the IM presentation, there are 15 chapters of material to get through. The new method IM uses is a method to slow things down and less things get taught, but they try to focus on them. Some kids are older, some are more advanced, some are shy introverts. From the large group showing up against this, your choice to eliminate honors classes is felt as an attack on our kids' education, or nobody would be here. I think you get sick of this by now. You've ignored the parents' wishes. I asked Dr. Macheski for data supporting the move to collaborative learning with no honors path. He provided nothing. Promises our high achievers will be fine doesn't work when you've lost our trust.
30 seconds.
Especially since everyone here knows you're selling a lie that our kids all learn the same speed and that shy introvert learners will just love group learning. We need decisions based on data. Ms. Birmingham's last message lacked one thing every honors math student knows. You need to show your work. So listen to the parents and vote no on eliminating honors classes.
Thank you. Mr. William Wang. On deck is Mr. Dale Murish. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is William Wang. I'm a resident of Troy with 2 kids in the Troy Public Schools. I'm very concerned with your process of removing some of the honor classes, starting with math. And growing up, I wished my own junior high school, that they offered honors in mathematics, but that was not a choice. But today, I'm representing my kids, and I'm fighting for them over here to have the opportunity.
All right.
Kindergarten sets the foundation for
allowing
Can
them
someone help
to
him?
have the opportunity to, excel in math or whichever the field, they choose. Understanding that no kids are created equal, they all excel differently. Some excel in math and excel in English or science and liberal arts and so forth. And by taking away that opportunity from them, they really don't really have a chance to fight back, because how many kids are here to speak? Very, very few. And as a parent, I'm here to speaking to all of you guys, because these are very vulnerable group, but they're so critical to our future because they are our future.
Mm-hmm.
One day, whenever that is, when we're old, these are gonna be scientists, engineers, doctors, and lawyers. We're gonna need their help. So taking away that opportunities they have, it's really hurting ourselves. So I hope you guys, treat them as your own kids when you guys are making these decisions, because one day you're really gonna need them.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dale Murish is up. Mrs. Yaroslava Ruzankina. is on deck. No, you're on deck, but perfect. Have a seat there. You're great. Okay, and Mr. Dale Murish should be at the podium right now. Dale Murish, M-U-R-R-I-S-H.
Hi, I'm Dale Murish, Troy resident since 1988. My kids are all college graduates, so they don't attend Troy schools. I'm a retired GM engineer and a candidate for the Troy City Council this November. The proposal to end middle school honors classes will eventually hurt property values as the school test scores decline. This is bad policy, lack of transparency, disrespecting parents and teachers by not listening to them, and most of all, hurting the students. This is an untested curriculum where there is no data about whether this hurts the ACT test scores a few years later. But there's plenty of historical data showing that students learn better when grouped by ability. Eliminating honors English and math in the middle schools is the worst decision in a long time to follow the latest fad. You're hurting the smarter honors students and also the slower students who will struggle to keep up. It would be great if the school system partnered with parents, such as having robotics programs like First Light.
30 seconds.
This T-shirt. Please retain the honors classes for everyone's sake. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Yaroslava Bruzankina, is that right? Bruzankina? Hello?
So I'm a Troy resident and we have 5 kids in the system. We moved from Maryland, Baltimore County approximately 4 years ago, a little bit less. And we experienced this detracking there. So it didn't really work because at first they had gifted and talented classes. Then they started getting rid of them and putting all kids in one class. So first the teachers were struggling to provide good education for all sorts of levels. So then they started putting, splitting the classes into groups. They called them like different animals, so it shouldn't sound like lower level, high level. But anyway, so still advanced kids were bored, even they got a different level of assignments. And the low level kids, they didn't get enough attention. So it wasn't working well. I don't know
30
what happened
seconds.
now. Okay. Then I will talk from the university admissions. I have a PhD from Cornell University. Postdoctoral from University of Pennsylvania. I have colleagues working on admissions committee at Stanford, Yale, Princeton, and other top schools. So they look at APs and honors, and it's the minimum to consider your application. Then you have to have a lot of extra stuff. But even here, for like local schools, Oakland University, you don't have to take APs. If you have honors, you
Your
can
time
get
is up.
scholarships. It will help for those kids who do not have access to the funds to get additional education.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Miss Yan Liang. Yan Liang. And then on deck is Savani Angadi. Shivani Angadi. Yeah, Yan. Sorry, I'm reading too many names at once for people here. Hi.
Good evening, dear board members. I'm Yan Liang. I have a fourth grader in Bemis. So the board members should work for the families in Troy and for the kids' future. But I don't see that. Look back for what you have done to English Honor 9, to elementary Spanish. Made I think what else you did and what more, because there was no transparency. The only thing you done good and we need to thank you about is you brought us here to say no to you. We learned how important we need to speak out for ourselves. We don't trust you because from the experience we learned before, you have earned no credits. If you like,
30 seconds.
If you would like to work for our school district, earn your trust back, please wait and keep the honors until the data is collected and reviewed properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Shivani Angadi. And then on deck is Alex Karpowitz. Shivani, hi. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Shivani. Good evening, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Shivani Angadi, and I'm a sophomore here at Troy High. As it has been stated by many others, the removal of honors classes will negatively impact students, teachers, and families. Numerous families, including my own, chose to move to Troy out of all places, mainly for the incredible education system. Troy honors classes gave us the opportunity to have more advanced education than our parents without having to pay for a tutor or extra classes. With the new system, the curriculum doesn't guarantee that students will be ready for Algebra 1 in 8th grade, meaning that parents will be forced to supplement the material. But many low-income families cannot afford to get access to tutors or other help, meaning they'll be left behind. Having the ability to take honors classes allows us as students to sharpen the skills we need to excel in subjects that we are passionate about, and learn important skills earlier on in classes, such as Math 6-7 honors. The removal of honors classes will not only ruin the reputation that the Troy School District worked so hard to build, but also let down capable students from so many opportunities. Please keep honors classes, and please keep Troy academics strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani. Alex Karpowitz. What's that, number 34?
Hello.
So this is 35.
My name is Alex Karpowicz, and I am a Troy resident. The last time I addressed the board, I specifically made mention to precision. So I spent quite a bit of time reviewing the course guides that Troy puts out for both the middle school and high school. And unfortunately, the lack of standardization and reporting, I cannot find syllabi for any of the existing courses, nor can I find syllabi for what the courses that you're proposing. In the absence of the syllabi, how can a parent juxtapose and compare any sort of curriculum change that the board is proposing? So I strongly encourage the board going forward, if any curriculum changes are to be proposed, that the subsequent syllabi, course guide, and textbook are made available to parents so that they can evaluate those changes independently. Again, the depth and breadth of an honors course inspires students. If anything, I've heard from many students here today, we need to be going the other direction. We need to be offering a super honors. Some of these kids aren't challenged enough. So in a globally competitive world, we need to give every student in our district the opportunities and challenges that they need. And for that reason, I strongly encourage the board to vote no this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then I have two statements that were sent in and asked the two people who cannot attend who wanted us to read in their remarks. One says, TSD board members, my name is Kristen Pingree. I'm a Troy parent and professional math tutor teaching several students in TSD, IA, and surrounding districts. I have a son at Bolin Park Middle School and a daughter who's a Troy High graduate studying at the University of Michigan. My children have not always attended Troy schools. We have lived in multiple states and districts, and my son attended Avondale's Gifted and Talented Magnet program for several years. My daughter took advanced middle school math and English at Bolin, as well as 9th and 10th grade honors English at Troy High. Yes, my children have taken advantage of honors and advanced course offerings over the years. However, what I've learned from their K-12 education is that labels are often subjective. We switched our son back to Troy schools this year, confident that Troy's 7th grade curriculum and teachers were superior to those in his accelerated magnet program. In fact, his current English class is more engaging than the advanced English our daughter took at Bolin Park 6 years ago. Furthermore, the honors high school math classes offered at Troy middle schools cover the same material and textbooks as courses in nearby districts where they sometimes receive no honors designation. A course's content is more important than its label. As a math tutor, I've taught students left off the accelerated track who later doubled up on math classes to get on the AP track, graduating with AP Calculus. I understand that the proposed changes aim to prevent this from happening so often, since many kids have matured to the point of readiness for Algebra 1 by the 8th grade who might not get identified for it in the 5th grade. This is a noble goal. My main concern is that TSD work in conjunction with teachers and publishers to cover any gaps in material that may arise from such a switch. How am I doing? Am I at
You know, I didn't keep time.
time? Okay, that's fine. Okay, and then I meant to say start the timer. This one's short. This one will be easy. This one is from a Troy resident with this is Chris Courtney, a Troy resident with 2 elementary kids in the district. I would really like to speak at the board meeting on Tuesday, but I am unavailable to attend that night. I'm hoping you can read my remarks into the record during public comment. I was a kid who was tracked into regular math in 6th grade by my 5th grade teacher. At that point, both of my sisters were in the honors track, and a number of my friends had been, in my opinion, subjectively tracked into honors as well. As you can imagine, this wrecked my confidence at a very young age. I still carry that with me to this day. I really feel like there are more kids out there like me that will not voice their opinions because at this point in their lives they probably don't care. However, I feel like I need to be that voice, especially with all the protests happening over this curriculum change. I love what the district is planning on doing. It gives kids like me an extra runway to prove themselves in math and possibly get a little more confidence to take algebra in 8th grade. I was stuck in that regular math track throughout my entire school experience. What the district is doing matters. Please vote yes on this change.
I set the timer. He had a whole 30 seconds
I've got 30 seconds to go. Okay. Okay. Okay, that concludes public comment. That moves us then into where am I? There we go, curriculum. Okay, so we start with the report. And Christine? Hi there. Christine DiPilato, Assistant Superintendent of the elementary instruction, not really, secondary instruction, and Natalie Hazelbrook, Director of Teaching and Learning, will share a brief report on the new middle school math program.
Good evening.
Good
everyone.
evening.
We have a team of people here today to present on behalf of the 6th through 8 math adoption proposal. Open this up. I'm going to get started. So just to provide context for where we are this evening, we've had an opportunity over the last 6 weeks to...
Hold on, Christine. There's talking in the room. I would really ask that we be respectful of the people at the microphone. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we've had an opportunity to come to the board a handful of times to be able to share our work toward the 6th through 8 mathematics adoption. Most recently, on May 2nd, we had a lengthy board workshop here in this room. We had about a 90-minute presentation on all of the steps that we have gone through with the 6th through 8 math adoption, and then we were able to answer some questions from the board. We are not going to represent that presentation at this time. All of those slides are captured and available on our website, and we are happy to talk through them. Tonight, we're going to provide you with a general overview of the cycle that we went through for our math adoption. So presented on the screen is the cycle that we follow when we are looking at curriculum across the district. It's important to note that there's a variety of different phases of that curricular adoption, and we are down at the bottom of that loop right now. So over the course of the next few slides, we'll be walking through our research and our vision, what we've done to explore, and ultimately our recommendation. Throughout this process, we've engaged a variety of stakeholders within our district. We've had teacher representatives, administrators, curriculum and instruction specialists, as well as central office members who have been able to be a part of vetting and looking at a variety of different products. Some of those folks who have been directly involved are standing here with me today. Others have been vocal throughout the process in different formats. One of the things that we did share with you as a board and have been able to talk about is that we start our process every time that we look at curriculum with looking at data within the district. So what's most important for us is to study how we have done and what we have been able to, how we've performed as a district. So the 3 different versions of data that are present up there we talked about in detail on May 2nd. And they were program data over time and looking at our M-STEP performance year after year, looking at 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade outcomes. We talked about cohort data, looking at a specific group of students as they travel from 3rd grade through 7th grade and their scores over time. And then we also looked at our student choice and tracking data. So those 3 areas where we talked with you were 3 things that helped us determine where we needed to go next. I'm going to turn it over to Natalie to walk through our next few slides.
So the first thing our team did, our middle school pilot team, was really think about our district vision of World Class for All, and then what would that mean specifically for a mathematics vision. So you'll see it there. I know you've seen it a number of times, but again, deep mathematical understanding and critiquing the world through mathematics, and then also experiencing the wonder, joy, and beauty of mathematics. This is about helping all students recognize that mathematics is a powerful tool in their lives. As Christine talked about, after kind of that cycle of review, learning from the field, casting that vision, we had 3 main findings to really explore new curriculum, as well as thinking about our course sequencing, and then also really thinking about classroom pedagogy. So how should instruction look different in classrooms? So really one of the first steps was, again, thinking about our vision, and the team worked hard to design a tool that would help us to vet any potential curricula that was out there. So for each of our pillars, they really identified bullet points that would help us to know if the resource was in alignment with our district vision. And so you'll see that here. I know we've talked about that several times, but this team worked to create that, and I think it helped us really get at a tool that matches what we're going for. I'm going to pass it over to Kate to talk a little bit about our pilot process.
Thank you. First, I want to thank our teachers that went through this pilot process with us. It was an extremely rigorous and hard year for our teachers. They really put their heart and soul into this work. It is one of the most rigorous pilot processes I think that I've personally been through, and I think a lot of us have been through, and I'm really proud of all the hard work that they have done this year. So when we first started this process, we looked at 8 different curricula. And we narrowed it down through the use of our rubric to 2 resources that we're excited to pilot this year. We piloted those resources. Teachers piloted at least 2 units, and in many cases more than 2 units. Our first pilot was Connected Math project from MSU, and then we started illustrative math pilot in January. As you know, our recommendation to all of you is that we adopt the illustrative math curriculum next year. This is a problem-based curricula. It has so many embedded supports for our students. We recognize as math teachers that not every child learns in the same way. We recognize that children learn at different paces. We recognize that some children need more support and some children need more challenge. We know that as educators, and we're confident that this resource will allow us to meet the needs of all of the children in front of us. We presented this example to you last time. It's a nice example from a 6th grade classroom where you see one prompt that kids are tackling in 4 different ways. And it's exciting for us as teachers to see kids really leaning into their own strategies as they attack a problem. It's no longer I do, we do, you do, watch the teacher do a problem and copy, mimic that thinking. What we really see kids doing is they're owning their own strategies, they're defending their own strategies, they're hearing from other students' strategies as they're collaborating together, and that's really exciting for us as teachers. Is there anything? Yeah?
So, for those of you that, you've been in my classroom. I'm Jordan Baines. I'm at Bowman Park Middle School. I've actually had the pleasure of working with IM last year and this year in my classroom, so with my Math 6 and Math 6-7 honors. Like Kate said, that we've had plenty of time to look through this with our students and look at different levels and different speeds and seeing how can we really get to all of our learners. And the way that we're implementing this into our classroom has really been shocking, because kids are so used to, I do, you do, we do. And now we're seeing the kids step out of their comfort zone. Even our shy kids, they still have an opportunity to be individuals. They can still collaborate with me on the side. They can work together. It's not our students who typically excel faster they're not teaching. They are learning with everybody, and I still have opportunities to get them to extend their learning and challenge them. And so as you see on the board, you have opportunities not just to do this paper pencil, but also we have different avenues of providing the curriculum with technology. So students who like paper pencil, we can give that opportunity to them. Students who like the technology, we have that opportunity as well. I typically do see students asking for more and saying, even now some of us are learning back at Big Ideas, and my students are like, can we go back to IM? Because they truly appreciate that challenge and connecting to the why. Not just, here's a formula, half base times height, that's your triangle, but like, where does that come from? And now they're understanding the why and being able to apply that now to finding area of other shapes and volume, just to be specific.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
So I've been asked to take a look at a example lesson a little bit more in depth. So this is an example lesson from Math 8 curriculum. This is a lesson where it's further along in the unit. They've done some exploration of exponents, and in this lesson they're exploring the negative exponent rule. Every lesson has teacher goals and it has student-facing goals. It also has what's called a cool down, which is essentially a formative assessment at the end of the lesson. What's really great about this resource is that it gives us a lot of guidance as teachers in terms of when might you want to press pause and when can you keep going, knowing that not every kid is there yet. We know that not every child is going to hit a learning objective at the same time, at the same speed, and IM does not expect that either. So it gives us some coding to help us understand more chances, points to emphasize, when we can just keep going and when we need to pause and make sure the kids are with us. So that's a little bit of guidance there at the bottom. We start the lesson with a 5-minute warm-up. The students in this case are doing a 10-minute activity where they're doing 5 to 7 minutes individually, and then there's a class discussion. After that, we move into a 20-minute activity where kids are really diving deep into exponent rules, and now they're having a chance to kind of go where the lesson takes them. Some kids are going to kind of stay maybe in number 1, maybe they get to number 2. Some kids will get through number 3, and they will also move on to this challenge problem of the Are You Ready for More? This is a really fun, I know we've got some math-minded folks on our board. This is a really fun Are You Ready for More? If you feel like you want to do some math later, I encourage you to do it. Drew and I did this the other night, and it was a good one. We had to really think about how does this tie in with the exponent rules that we just learned. It's not completely obvious when you first start to do it, so it's a really great question. Some kids will get to this, and that's great, but not everybody has to, and that's totally fine. Mark, I was hoping you'd talk a little bit about building thinking classrooms at this point, and how do we get to all of those?
Sure. Mark Hayes. I'm a Troy School District product. I've been in district for 28 years. I had 3 kids come through the district, 1 through the advanced path and 2 through the regular path, all doing extremely well. I'm just going to talk a little bit about building thinking classrooms, which is in addition to illustrative math. But one of the things that they really do well is they get kids up and working on vertical surfaces. And I know some of you guys came over to Larson and took a look at that. But when the kids are working on vertical surfaces or whiteboards, you really see that mobility of knowledge. Not all the knowledge isn't just coming from the teacher. It's up on the whiteboards. The kids can all see it. The teacher can see it. The teacher can then get to those groups quickly, see where there's some misunderstandings, but also see where the kids are moving forward and doing really well, and give them immediate feedback. So maybe you have a group over here that's struggling a little bit. I can get over there and give them some immediate feedback in a small group setting. Or I can pull them all over to Gary's board, where Gary's doing really well, and say, hey, take a look at Gary's board. Carl, what are you noticing about Gary's board? What kinds of things do you see? So we're bringing all of those kids together, whether they're faster learners, better learners, or if they're struggling a little bit, then they can see that knowledge right there in the classroom. Everything doesn't have to funnel through the teacher, and the flow of the classroom can continue. And those kids that need something more, like an extension, as they look around, they might say, hey, wow, that's really cool over there. I'm going to go over there and talk to them about how they did that problem, and maybe take off on a tangent over here and push myself a little bit harder. So it's certainly doable. Yes, it's going to take some training. Yes, the teachers are going to need some help, but it's to me, it's a great curriculum. And if we include, which we are, building thinking classrooms together, I think we're heading in the right direction.
We showed this to you last time, but to reiterate again, when we look at SAT problems, when we look at AP problems, when we think about preparing our kids for high levels of mathematics, they are problems that are in context. They are problems that can be solved in multiple ways. They are problems that can be attacked using a variety of strategies, and that really is what we're setting our kids up for when they are working in the IM curriculum.
Going through the process of selecting a curriculum and identifying one that resonates deeply with our blue pillar, our focus on deep learning, our ability to be able to differentiate and engage students throughout a process of learning was a priority for us. and finding that in IM and having lengthy conversations about how IM can challenge students in a variety of different ways is what moved us to have conversations about our pathways. We recognize that we do not want to create classrooms where one size fits all. As Kate talked about and Mark mentioned, when we think about classrooms where we can engage students at different levels and we can adapt our pedagogy in our classrooms, how we teach students to mimic a way in which we can engage them where they are with the resources that we have to go deep when students are ready to go deep and support the ones who are struggling. We were then forced to think about the structure that we provide in access for our students to reach high levels of math. This district has always prioritized excellence. It has prioritized math at a high level, and we want more students to be able to access those high levels of mathematics. We know that Algebra 1 is a gateway skill. We know that the more students that are able to access Algebra 1 and learn it at a deep level, the higher they will fly when it comes to math. And so we were looking at our structures, and that data point that I talked about earlier on looked at the rigidity of our structures. Our current pathway, we've said this a few times over, identifies students at the age of 10 and 11 and places them in a track. And because of how we created our track, there isn't a way for students to be able to move in between honors and regular in a fluid manner. We knew that we weren't serving all of our students and being able to allow that access to high levels of math. So the proposed new structure puts a new curriculum in the classroom with a new approach to teaching and learning in that classroom with those new resources. It commits to an engagement of students across 6th grade and across 7th grade with an opportunity for students to be able to move into Honors Algebra 1 in 8th grade. We recognize that this is a change. We recognize that it is an opportunity for some students to be able to access spaces where they might not have been able to get in previous years. And it also upholds the same level of access for students who currently have it. And so you'll see on the chart that's listed here, the proposed new pathway moving through in middle school. It's important on this next slide that it picks up and shows high school, because I know there have been concerns that have been shared regarding our high school pathways. So you can see on the left-hand side, a student who progresses through our middle school and takes 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade mathematics, then takes 9th grade Algebra 1, moves into 10th grade geometry, and then a variety of electives that fit the pathway of that student. For our student who has access and chooses to take honors algebra in 8th grade, they will then take honors geometry in 9th grade if they choose, honors algebra 2, and then so on into those same pathways. The opportunity for our students to be able to reach high levels of advanced mathematics is not changing. And that curriculum that's built to be able to move students forward is something that we feel very passionately about. We are very proud of our students and the level of achievement. We have in Troy more than 2 full classrooms worth of students who are taking Calculus 3 in a partnership and dual enrollment with Lawrence Technical University. That's incredible. Those opportunities will continue to be available for our students. We do not believe that students should be all at the same place at the same time. And I believe that this pathway and these opportunities further exemplify that. It's important to note, and I think it's important for us to emphasize that the choice that families will make after 7th grade math is not just a willy-nilly choice. It's an opportunity for families to be able to get feedback and see how their students progress in 6th grade and 7th grade, and then in partnership with their 7th grade teachers, and as well as with the data points that they have as parents on where their students are achieving and how their students' confidence is in math and what they are ready for as students and families, to make the decision on if they feel it's in the best interest of their child to pursue 8th grade math or honors algebra 1. And that's a very important choice because, again, that is what provides our students with access to the variety of pathways as they move into high school. I think it's important, and on this slide I won't read it verbatim, but we recognize that there are challenges that we are facing in proposing this change. The proposed change, we've heard from our community and we heard again tonight that there's a feeling that this change is devaluing mathematics in the Troy School District, and that is not our intent. Our intent is to be able to further emphasize the important role of middle school foundational mathematics in the opportunity for students to achieve at high levels in high school. We know that sometimes, and some parents have shared the concern, that they feel that students may not be motivated to achieve in a classroom if it's not a tracked classroom. But we have evidence and know that students are motivated to achieve in all of our classrooms. Our 5th grade classrooms are a great example of high levels of motivation of students who are highly competent in mathematics. We do not track our 5th graders, and our 5th graders right now are ready to go when they come to 6th grade. They don't have to have that track in order to be motivated, and these math teachers that stand beside me and the math teachers that have piloted this curriculum feel confident that the resources that are available in this new curriculum will be able to be used to motivate students in class. We also believe that preparation for high levels of math in high school is incredibly important as students move foundationally through middle school. We shared with you at the board workshop, and I'll share again, that the ACT has even identified the importance of the foundational mathematical skills in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math. We want to live into that data and live into that research to help our students have a stronger foundation so that when they reach those higher levels of Algebra 2 in particular, that is an incredibly challenging year for our high school students, that Algebra 2 and Honors Algebra 2, that the foundational skills that they learned in 6, 7, 8, and Honors Algebra 1 will be there to support them as they continue to move forward. And then the last bullet that's there I think is an important one just because it's placed there to just identify misinformation. In the Troy School District, we don't weight our honors classes. We recognize that honors, it can be an appealing component on a transcript, but it is not weighted in our GPA. And our middle school classes do not show up on our transcripts that go to colleges. We've spent time connecting with colleges and universities, specifically asking them about the impact that this change would make in our middle school curriculum, if it would be impacting those college applications with those transcripts. And they have confirmed with us that it does not impact because those honors classes are not shown on a high school transcript, and it does not impact that GPA at the high school. What we have further done is we've looked at and had some challenges brought forward and questions. One of the outstanding questions.
Hold on, we're not going to compete here, okay?
Tell the truth.
We are telling the truth.
Honors is on a high school transcript, excuse me. That's a fact.
Honors, middle school honors is not.
Correct, middle school, but she did
You know what? It's what we're talking about, but this is not your meeting. You're observing. Please be respectful of the speaker.
But this is my child!
This is,
He's abused you! You're chilling his neck!
Maybe recess.
yeah.
That's how I feel!
We're going to recess for 10 minutes. Are we good? Okay. So we're yeah, stay down for a second. We're going to recommence this meeting here. Again, this is the school board's meeting. We're trying to have a meeting up here, and you're observing, okay? I'm asking for decorum to be maintained. I'm not going to get into a shouting match with people here in the room. That's not what we're here to do. We're walking through the standards. I would ask, we have people here who work many hours a week on behalf of your students, and I'd ask that you give them respect when they're talking to us, and that you not disrupt our conversation. We're in the process of discernment right now. Okay. My team, would you like to come back?
One of the challenges that were put in front of us as we were working through our transition into 8th grade math or Algebra 1 was a question about our 8th grade math standards and our Honors Algebra 1. We spoke extensively at the workshop about the pathway does not promote the skipping of standards. The pathway from 7th grade math into Honors Algebra 1 compresses our 8th grade math standards and integrates them into the Algebra 1 standards, creating our Honors Algebra 1 course in 8th grade. Our math specialists, working in collaboration with Kate, worked through all of the math standards as well as the Algebra 1 standards to create a crosswalk, to look at where do they overlap, where may they not overlap. We created a summary of what those standards look like. We are sharing with you tonight that we believe that there is space within our Algebra 1 curriculum. We looked specifically at the IM Algebra 1 curriculum to identify the number of lessons that are taught and the number of flexibility. So an example that we can provide you with is, we have approximately 180 school days. The IM Algebra 1 curriculum has about 140 proposed lessons. That includes assessments. So that leaves us about 40 days or 8 weeks of instruction that aren't specifically accounted for. And that's important to know. You know, our teachers often, that's when they extend their learning or go more deeply in, or they remediate learning in a classroom. This is an opportunity where we would then use in our Honors Algebra 1 class to embed those 8th grade standards as needed. So again, we believe there's flexibility to compress and embed those standards. We know, and we've already talked about, and we don't need to kind of go through again, but our goal is to ensure that we have supported all of our students. So within the classroom, providing opportunities, the new pathway moves students who currently have access to Algebra 1 to continue to have access to Honors Algebra 1 in 8th grade. If there are families who are interested in going beyond Honors Algebra 1 in 8th grade, that opportunity exists now by testing out and will continue to exist in the future by testing out. So if there are families who, again, want to advance beyond that Honors Algebra 1 in 8th grade, there are opportunities for that as well. We do have an implementation plan. Kate, would you like to talk a little bit about our plan moving forward?
Sure.
Or Natalie, sorry.
So along with all of the PD, the professional learning that our teachers have received throughout our pilot, which it has been extensive, we are also having 2 full days before the end of the school year where we're going to be working with our teachers to unpack IM and just to get ready for the next year. We planned these professional learning days in collaboration with our teachers that are piloting, with our math specialists that have been supporting our teachers. So it's we have a great plan. We're excited to start diving into IM with all of our teachers before the end of the school year. We are also going to host a summer institute over the summer. We've had folks already reach out that they're interested in those days. And then of course our back to school learning days will be about IM as well. We've started to flesh out our plan for next year. We're doing monthly job embedded professional learning per grade level team. We have our math specialists that are there, full-time math specialists at each building that are there to co-plan, co-teach, coach teachers, do intervention with students. They act as a person to reflect with our teachers, to really think deeply about our practice. It's such a privilege that we get to be in a district that prioritizes math so much that we have a 1.0 full release math specialist in each one of our middle schools. It's really, I know I had a math coach when I first started. I worked in other districts where I didn't, and it was just so wonderful for me as a teacher. I grew so much when I had the support of a coach, and I'm just so lucky that we work in a district that sees that and values that as well.
Okay, so our team has also recommended support for families for next year because the daily experience will feel different for students potentially. So we've thought about having parent learning sessions at buildings, also having parents have the opportunity to interact with some of the folks that we've learned from throughout the process. So some of the professors that we've learned from, offering opportunities like that for parents. Also sharing classroom video examples through our website so they can kind of picture what the classroom teaching and learning looks like. Every IM unit has specific supports for families, along with daily lesson summaries so parents can kind of get the gist of what was taught on that day. And so the next little bit will really, again, be about implementing, but then also monitoring our success. You'll see that we have basically 3 goals around this, is really to see growth in the number of students who score advanced or proficient on the MSTEP, PSAT, and SAT. We want to increase enrollment and successful completion of Honors Algebra 1 in 8th grade, and then also build student problem-solving skills and communication of mathematical thinking. And that really will be where our common assessments come in. So thinking about some of those examples that you saw earlier where students are really having to explain their thinking, that's how we know that we're getting at the deep learning, that conceptual understanding that we're going for. Okay. That concludes our presentation for this evening, unless anyone has anything to add tonight.
Does anyone have questions for the team on this? I know we drilled them on the workshop. Go ahead, Amina.
So most of my questions and the answers have been incorporated into the presentation tonight. I have heard lots of comments about a teacher's ability to teach to kids of different abilities. As a parent who has a 7th grader, I know that other than math, every other class in middle school is with kids of all abilities in one classroom, including science. Is there any reason to believe that our middle school math teachers would not be as capable as the rest of our middle school teachers to teach children of different abilities in one classroom?
So, in my classroom, like, this was a genuine concern of mine, and I, seeing that right away, like, I'm 8 years into teaching, so I'm not a full veteran, but I still have some experience. I'm very passionate about math. I went through Troy schools, and math was one of my higher achieving classes. And in my classroom, IM does a great job right away of just doing it itself with the curriculum, where I can address those full level of learners. Now, am I perfect? No. I do know that we've already been working together, looking at building Thinking's classroom and building that professional development to see, okay, how can we address the variety of learners in our classroom? As I mentioned before, it's not just, okay, a student knows it really well, they're gonna teach my kids, or a student's really struggling, they're gonna push off into a corner. IM does a tremendous job of letting me assess my learners, making those vertical whiteboards or having those conversations of collaboration and being able to extend the thinking, but also say, okay, this group of students, they can move on to the next level. Or this group of students, I'm gonna hold them back and we're gonna do some other type of enrichment to make sure that they're getting to that next step. So from my professional opinion, I think IM does a great job of doing this, but it's not perfect, and we're going to look at professional development and building it together to make sure that all of our teachers can have that opportunity to do that in their classroom as well.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want to add on
Oh,
to that?
did you want to add? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm one of the high school math specialists, and I had the pleasure to work with this wonderful team. And when we were looking at curriculum, we had 8 presentations. It was a little overwhelming, but that was the one question we kept asking is, how is this curriculum going to make me a better teacher? And we're not done. Like you said, we do need to have more professional development, but the curriculum itself lifts us as teachers to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you. Nancy, go ahead.
You know, one of the comments that we heard over and over here tonight is we're going too fast on this. That, I mean, I think there are some people here that absolutely don't want to change curriculum, but my sense is that there are some people who do want to change curriculum, recognize that 9 years on a math curriculum, given today's fast pace of change, is absolutely not serving the needs of our kids. Mm-hmm. But there's an argument of we're going too fast. So if you had another year, what would we do with that?
So Nancy, I think that's a question that's come up a few times, and I've had a little bit of an opportunity to think about it, and I obviously welcome the reflections of the teaching and learning team who's here with me tonight. When we went through this process and we were looking at curriculum, what we are looking at is an opportunity to engage our students in the resources that we have available to us. So the process in looking at and vetting a curriculum is to specifically look at the materials that we are providing for students and for teachers. And we're seeking feedback on how those materials engage. The process of the curriculum is not to look at specifically holding a control group with a measurement of does it produce X or Y differently. What we identified was our current curriculum, Big Ideas, does not align with our expectations of deep learning. That has been identified. It is not meeting the needs of our students, and it does not stand for or uphold our beliefs in how we make learning more tangible for students. And so when we began this engagement and looking at the curriculum, we were looking for those specific things. So the pilot that we did, that we conducted, that we went through, allowed us to vet those materials, specifically aligned to those outcomes and expectations. I think it's important to note, and it's been asked, we didn't pilot with our honors and our non-honors track together. Because of the construction of our current tracked system, we couldn't put them together, because you would be de-tracking to put them together, and then we wouldn't be able to move students then back into an honors track the following year after putting them into a de-tracked pilot. and there wouldn't have been parents welcoming the D-tracking to be able to just run that pilot. So what we did was we used those materials in both our honors classrooms and our standard classrooms to be able to get the same level of feedback on engagement and usability of that tool. So I would offer that based on how we create a structure to vet curriculum, when we were purchasing curriculum, another year wouldn't give us more information on answering the questions that we asked this time. Now, if we were to completely change what we were looking for, that would be a different conversation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you also talk, I mean, because I also believe that there's probably confusion in terms of what we do as a district vis-a-vis curriculum and what the developers of the curriculum do. So can you talk a little bit about the entity that has developed illustrative math and kind of what their basis for moving the curriculum in a very different direction than what math has traditionally been taught in. And I think that might be helpful information for the community to understand.
Do you want to talk about the learning in the field that moved IM to being more math practices?
Sure. The illustrative math was developed by some of the writers of the Common Core, and the purpose is to really try to enact get students to use our standards of mathematical practice, which aren't just about content, but also about the doing of mathematics, and also to help teachers enact the practices for teaching and learning of mathematics, which means that, we showed you that slide last time, is that we have to present students with an interesting task. And so when we present students with an interesting task, we allow them to do the thinking, we allow them to engage in the mathematics. They become mathematicians by doing math, not watching somebody else, not mimicking somebody else, mainly the teacher, right, but by doing the math themselves. And so IM's belief is that when you, that they have a curriculum, they've written a curriculum that allows us to do all those things, that's task-based, that allows us to pose purposeful questions to students, that allows our students to engage in productive struggle, that allows our students to see patterns and develop relationships and own those things, to be able to communicate with each other. So that's their philosophy. They also philosophically believe that students should have a solid foundation in Math 6, Math 7, Math 8. If you read carefully the literature that they have out, they don't really believe in rushing kids through math. They want that solid foundation. We recognize in Troy that we have lots of students who are ready for Algebra 1, and we welcome that. We love challenge. We love mathematics. We love challenging our kids. We want them to reach high levels of mathematics. We want more kids to reach high levels of mathematics. That's what we strive for. And so we're also creating a system where we can have students reach Algebra 1 or build more than that, right, by the time they reach 8th grade.
Any other questions on the presentation? Go ahead.
On the present.
Oh, sorry. I keep cutting you off before you get to the mic. Go ahead.
I think most of the curriculums we looked at are moving towards that. I mean, it wasn't easy to just pick one, it didn't really stand out. There were several that are moving in that direction just because the amount of information in the world is just exploding. It's no longer appropriate to just teach formulas and things like that. We have to teach the kids better how to think and how to think forward and to create in math, so.
Great, go ahead, Gary.
That's exactly where I was headed, because for the brief time that I was with Mrs. Bain's class, to watch her inspire, not make the kids think, allow them to think, collaborate, to do things, I was very much impressed with her and her moving around the room and to engage the students, to have them think in groups, to love the math that they were doing. It's been occupying space in my head for the last month and a half as to how does she do this? And every single day, she's a credit to her profession in terms of that class appreciating, and Carl was in there too, watching these students be engaged because of her. I applaud her, but I think she did a marvelous job because it has stuck with me in to appreciate the math and to appreciate the thinking with a capital T as to how you engage those young people, and I'm sure that they're even more inspired. Very good.
Good. Any other questions for the group? Oh, go ahead.
And Christine, I know you and I talked about this, and certainly much of what we have continued to hear from parents is their desire to have their kids be competitive, not just in a domestic context, but internationally. I do a lot of international work, and I know I was talking to Christine, we don't participate in the PISA work, but it's horrendous to see the U.S.'s performance. I mean, we are in math and in science relative to the rest of the world, which, you know, certainly has put me on a journey over the past several years of looking at what are these countries that are outperforming us. And again, it's, you know, you can debate the methodology and so on, but they do talk about the best and brightest in each country, you know, so you can look at the students that are 90th percentile. Our 90th percentile students are about equal to the performance of the 50th percentile students in many other countries in the world. That is very concerning to me. And so as I have looked at what other countries are doing, I have reached the conclusion, and which is why I'm excited about this curriculum, and as we continue to roll out this type of teaching across all of our subject matter expertise, that we are going deep instead of this shallow fast that, you know, has traditionally been the United States' approach to math. Can you comment a little bit, again, I've seen the presentations and have had an opportunity to go into several classrooms. How does this compare to some of the leading countries that are clearly outperforming, you know, even their less capable students are outperforming our best students? And it isn't because we have less smart kids. Our kids are, you know, every bit as intelligent. And so to me it says it's what we're teaching them. It's the curriculum. So can you comment a little bit on the international comparison and kind of where IM is? Does it take us closer, you know, to countries like Finland and Singapore, you know, who clearly are outperforming? Even the Dominican Republic outperforms the U.S. in math.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it does. I think, you know, I think a lot about, Nancy, what you're saying reminds me of when we worked with Dr. Tony Wagner with our board and the learning that we did with him as well. And one of the things that's resonating with me is he talked about, it's not that the math has changed, it's just that we have to introduce the math in a way that's highly meaningful to students so that they see it as important in their lives as well. And so again, it's what you mentioned with depth. I think it's that idea that it's not check, we covered that standard, it's can the student apply that mathematics? Can the student have an engaged argument with another student who disagrees with them and defend their own thinking and look for cracks in the other student's thinking? Those are the pieces, when you can apply the mathematics, I think that will make the biggest difference. And that has been really some of our team's learning over the past really 4 or 5 years, is that's really has to be our goal.
Can I add one thing?
Yes,
too?
please.
One thing, when I did my master's program, we studied like lesson study, and one of the things that became very evident to me was this like very thoughtful reflection on teaching practice. And as a teacher in a classroom, I know lots of times I would get caught up in the day-to-day, and I would think, oh, that didn't go well, or that really did go well, and why? I never had really time to reflect on that. And so moving to a job-embedded model, which is essentially doing a lot of like that lesson study work, and through the support of our coaches, we are, I think, helping our teachers engage more in that really reflective practice of reflecting on our teaching, reflecting on what our students can do, making sure that we're constantly pushing them to the next thing, that we're thinking about this student and that student, how do we get them to the next
learning. And so it's really exciting to engage in this job-embedded approach. We see that that's our plan, to continue that monthly with our teachers. How do adults learn? Through reflection. And so by having all of these moments where we can reflect on our teaching is just going to make us better as educators. And that's something that I think lots of successful countries, they engage in that really thoughtful practice of learning as teachers, right? That's a really respected profession, as it is here, a teaching, but sometimes we get too caught up in the day-to-day, and so I think that will also help.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
One more, sorry.
You can tell who wasn't here for the workshop.
I was here.
You were, yes. You weren't able to participate, though.
Well, I was participating through you, but, no, it's just, to me, I believe the strength of Troy is we have a community that puts a very, very high value on education, which is why we're seeing a lot of the emotion, maybe some of the behaviors we're seeing tonight and so on, because people care. When all is said and done, we need to be looking outside our bubble to the rest of the world. And a lot of the material that you have presented to us over the past several months has caused me to go on a journey of due diligence to compare ourselves. And if we're going to be world class, we really need to compare to the world. My research has shown that the best, again, the countries that have the best education systems in the world, it isn't that they don't track, but I was not able to find a single country that started to track before 9th grade. Did I do complete research? Is that?
So we have done similar learning, in particular with Smartest Kids in the World. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that countries that delay, there are many successful countries that delay tracking till high school.
Let me just talk about one thing that you mentioned, and this might be hard to hear, but I have the opportunity to go in and out of all different types of classrooms, advanced classrooms. I feel like I've been in many advanced classrooms in all the middle schools. The hardest thing for the advanced students over the last several months has been to explain their thinking. They continue to say to our teachers, can't you just show me the procedure and let me do it 30 times? Let me do it 6 times. This is how they've always learned. This is how they want to learn. But in the world, that's not how it works. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to talk. You need to be able to collaborate. And once those kids got over that and got beyond that, it was unbelievable to watch. And so to speak to what you said, yes, I think it's going to push us in a much better direction. And once they understood, okay, it's more than just about doing a procedure. It's about understanding, being able to apply it, and be able to have a conversation about it, being able to talk about it with somebody else. It was tremendous, I think. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think, thank you. So that's going to move us to our next item, which is 7B. And Christine, were you going to introduce that, or are you going to introduce that?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, 7B, middle school mathematics material adoption. At the May 2nd, 2023 Board of Education Workshop, Kate Rainey, Secondary Math Curriculum and Instruction Specialist, Natalie Hazebrook, Director of Teaching and Learning, recommended illustrative math for 6th through 8th grade. At this time, it would be appropriate for the board to consider a resolution to adopt these materials.
Thank you for being asked to adopt new middle school mathematics materials. May I have a resolution, please? Mr. Hoff.
Be it therefore resolved that the above-mentioned recommended mathematic materials for the middle school level be approved for the 2023-2024 school year.
A resolution by Mr. Hoff, supported by Dr. Wilson. Are there comments or questions about this? Go ahead, Ms. Sunny.
Should I go first? Okay. This is probably one of the most difficult decisions I had to make. First off, I want to say I'm not an educator. My only qualification to be on the board here is to represent this community. And I believe that some of the best educators are in our district. Based on all the work that they have done and our teaching and learning, they recommend us to adopt this new curriculum. But our community has spoken very clearly that they want a rigorous curriculum that challenges our students. And over the past couple of months, I've been struggling with these two opposing aspects. At the Troy School District, we believe in world-class education for all. All means all students. I take this as educating every student to their fullest potential. That means identifying the potential of the student, help push them to their limits, and take them to the next level. Teach with the knowledge that all students are highly capable, and we should meet the students where they are. Whether they need extra help understanding something to get to the next level, or to teach them the next concept to continue to keep their interest. At the middle school, our students, about 65 to 75% of our middle school students are either proficient or advanced. 15 to 20 are partially proficient, and about 7 to 15% are struggling to meet their standards. We need to support all these students. Now, this illustrative math curriculum allows students to learn by problem solving. This workshop-based method presents students with a problem, encourages them to take active role and figure out before having to be explained the situation by the teachers. Now, this type of math is great. It helps students understand better, making connections, and makes math relatable. And I support this new curriculum 100%. The part I'm not sure about is the fact that as part of adopting this curriculum, our students will all be learning at the same level and at the same pace. I'm not sure if that means that we meet our students where they are, and if that means we're educating them to their fullest potential. Now, last week alone, I ran into a couple of parents who told me that their fourth graders are bored to death and not challenged in their high school. So it's not just middle school. And I fear this situation may get worse with this adoption. Our teachers will have their hands full preparing and adapting to this new, drastically different IM curriculum, which I absolutely support, and its new way of teaching. Adding to this, having a classroom of 25 students with varying abilities, encouraging all of them, helping kids who are wrestling with the concepts while keeping the kids who already know engaged at the same time, I think it would be a huge task even for our amazing teachers. So for that reason, I will be voting no today. Please understand that there are probably enough votes for this to pass. And so I urge the administrations to look at ways to maintain the right level of rigor and motivation for all of our students without creating excessive burden on our teachers. And we hopefully will continue to monitor and make appropriate adjustments as needed. Now, I want to thank all the parents and community members who have come out and expressed their concerns and even support for this curriculum. It definitely opened my eyes about what our community wants, and I urge you guys to continue to stay involved and keep yourself informed. Thank you.
Okay. Any other? Okay. Ms. Alish? Ms. Alish?
So these are the facts on which I am basing my vote tonight, in no particular order. For the sake of time, I will highlight the main big picture ones. We are voting on changing the middle school math pathway in 6th and 7th grade, which will eliminate the 6, 7, 7, 8 honors taken in grade 6 and grade 7 respectively, while keeping honors algebra 1 and math 8 as the terminal points for math in middle school. We are specifically voting to approve IM curriculum as the vehicle of that change. That is what the vote is limited to tonight. There will continue to be advanced math available to middle school students. Honors Algebra 1 will remain and will be open to students after Math 7. Students will still be able to end with Algebra 1 in middle school, as they have been able to do so up to this point. For those students who are even more advanced in math, the pathway to higher math, including geometry, will continue to be available to the middle school students as it has been up to this point. The path for math acceleration in middle school is not being removed. The board sets policy, and specifically set policy is embodied in the 4 pillars of which deep learning is one. The teaching and learning team, which includes secondary math specialists along with middle school math teachers and middle school math specialists, set about to do a routine, periodic review of middle school math curriculum and recommend changes. This process was documented, multi-year, that factored in policy set by the board. The process included working with in-house and national professionals on the topic, including IM. 50% of middle school math teachers participated in this process. 50% of all middle school math teachers piloted the new curriculum at all 4 middle schools. This proposed change to IM curriculum adoption, as well as change in pathway in 6th and 7th grade only, is the recommendation from the team involved in the process, which includes professionals in the teaching and learning department, including the secondary math curriculum and instruction specialists, as well as professionals from the middle school math teaching teams. As a board member, I have done my due diligence over the last 4 months, asked many questions several times of the teaching and learning team and the middle school math team, listened to and read community feedback, and spent a lot of time thinking, reading, and evaluating. And as a result, we'll be voting yes. The administrative team, along with the district's middle school math teachers, have done their job, and I am doing mine. Now for my commentary. I too am a proud parent of 2 very bright Troy School District students, a 4th and 7th grader. I too value education. That is why my children attend the Troy School District. Votes I have taken so far in curriculum, and the one I am taking tonight, directly affect my own children and their education. As a parent, I understand what it feels like to carry the weight of worry about your kid's future and to worry about what impact change, whether within the school walls or outside the walls of school, will have on that future. Important decisions cannot be made based on worry, fear, and fear-mongering, but on the information provided by professionals, in this case, in pedagogy and math pedagogy. I have seen my kids grow, both academically and socially, over the last 8 years, in large part due to their teachers and school staff. And as a parent with a behind-the-scenes view, I have every confidence that that will continue to be the case.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I appreciate both Mrs. Ani and Mrs. Alich's comments, because I think that the weight of the community, as well as the research that we have done, it's been a weight. I think that there has been more time spent on this decision than any other decision in my time on the board. And I have spent more time talking to community members about this decision than any other decision I've been asked to make as a board member. And I don't take the time that I spend with the community lightly. I want to hear and listen to your concerns and to your heart. But the thing that I take away from all of these conversations is that parents want the best for their kids. They want to see their kids succeed. And so that causes me to do research and to say, what do the possibilities, where are our ceilings, where are our opportunities? And the research that we have seen, the research that I've done independently, the research that the district has provided us, overwhelmingly supports the need for pushing our kids to a new kind of thinking. And when I I had a math teacher approach me who only teaches honors, who did not do the pilot, who said, this new curriculum, this is the way to go. Because when we do, she goes, every time I teach honors, I know I'm pushing those kids too fast and they're not retaining stuff. And so to have a teacher who didn't do the pilot, who teaches honors, who told me that she wasn't willing to speak at a meeting because she didn't want to get hung, she knows this is the right decision. And so talking to students who tell me that this opportunity has made them excited about math for the first time in their whole life, seeing math on a whiteboard, being able to erase their mistakes and try something new and learn something from someone else. Having students tell me that this IM curriculum has made them think that maybe they can do math, maybe they can go into a STEM field when they never thought that was an option before, that's why I'm voting yes. That's why I think this is exciting. And I know it's scary. I know change is scary. But I'm excited for kids to have an opportunity to do things that we didn't have.
Go ahead, Dr. Philbert.
I think many of my colleagues have made points that are consistent with kind of where my head is at. We need to change the middle school math curriculum. The curriculum is over 9 years old. It's no longer relevant to the way that the world works with the change in technology. We don't need our kids to be supercomputers. Machines can do that. We need our kids to be deep thinkers. I know that there's mixed feeling in the community about that. I've talked to many parents who say, curriculum is just fine, it works for my kid. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I think the rest of the world will pass us by. But there are many members of the community who have said, yeah, we need to change the curriculum. I think where the rub point is, and I think Ms. Ane brought that up, is the uncertainty around detracking kids in 6th and 7th grade. I am convinced that if, I think I share where Miss Alicia's, that I believe that the power of this curriculum, and I believe the capability of the teachers in Troy will allow us to be able to make that successful for all of our learners. What I can assure you, and I think everyone on this board feels the same way, and again, the challenge that Ms. Anise said to all of you is we need to hold ourselves accountable. And if we find that this is not working, then we will make a course adjustment. But I think at this point, the data would suggest that this is going to benefit more kids and that it provides excellent opportunity for our best learners to continue to go deeper and to think more. So I will be supporting this proposal tonight.
What about those who are
Thank you. Any other? Mr. Hoff?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, any other comments or questions? Okay, I had a number of points, but I'm not going to belabor it because I think that everyone's kind of expressed all the points of view there. I will say, I know I let the board know that I had reached out to the chair people of mathematics departments at U of M, MSU, Purdue, Notre Dame, Harvard, and Stanford to get an applied academics point of view on all this. And I had an extensive conversation with Dr. Brian Conrad, who's a tenured professor at Stanford, and his focus in research has been around high school math curricula and pedagogy. So he also, in fact, he turned out to be one of the most vocal critics of the San Francisco school plan that put all students on the same track for Algebra 1 in ninth grade. So I thought, okay, here's a good person to talk to about this. He looked at what San Francisco did, and he called it, quote unquote, an unmitigated disaster, is how he described it. With that said, at the end of that conversation with us, he said, there's 5 things I want you to tell the community. One is that the Troy plan is not the same as the San Francisco plan. In fact, he described our plan as the exact opposite of that because it provides at least 3 alternative tracks for middle school students via test outs and parental or student choice, including the ability to complete geometry by the end of 8th grade. So he said, no, the San Francisco plan didn't have any tracks. You're still providing these pathways, so that's good. And he looked at our high school math curriculum and said, you've got a very robust curriculum through graduation. The second thing is he told me the primary complaint he hears from his Stanford colleagues in STEM areas is that students enter initial courses without a strong enough theoretical understanding of mathematics. Professors in biology, chemistry, and physics want students who can recognize the right mathematics needed to get them to an answer in that field. So their minds are thinking about chemistry and physics and biology and not so much about the math, and the math becomes a means to an end. And in his words, when early math is taught as a computational magic trick without a deep tie to application, we fail to prepare our students for college coursework. One of his colleagues regularly says that he thinks every high school math class should be taught with 100% story problems, because every single time you're talking about math, you should be applying it to something. And essentially, he said they are begging us to slow down, go deep, and build more powerful foundations for them to add to later on. That's what they really want us to do. That's our role, is to do that. Purdue came back and responded and said exactly the same thing, that their biggest issue is they see deficits in basic algebraic skills and fundamental understanding of when to apply particular math to specific situations. So again, they're telling us, I want you to teach the kids depth, focus on depth, don't go super fast. So he's familiar with illustrative mathematics. He's got a colleague who is one of the developers. He said he thought between CMP, which is our second choice, and IM, he said you chose definitely the stronger program. And he said the reason he likes IM is that it does exactly what universities like Stanford have been asking us to do for years. So when he looks at it, he said that's good. So he had no concerns with delaying differentiated classes until 8th grade. He pointed out in his own growing up that he didn't differentiate into Algebra 1 until 8th grade, and he ended up okay as a tenured faculty at one of the most prestigious STEM universities in the country. So the last thing he said, say this loudly and clearly, no university in the country cares about or asks to see middle school transcripts when admitting students. Eliminating an honors track for 6th and 7th graders will not impact consideration of our students when applying to universities. So those were his key points he wanted for me to share. So based on that, here's where I netted out. We identified a new curriculum that's well regarded. It's in alignment with our strategic goal of deepening learning, linking learning to our students' worlds, widening student access to our most advanced mathematic tracks. And so adopting this curriculum is completely in line with our strategic plan. And based on that, and if you look at our board policy about our level of involvement in this, we should not be engaged in implementation. Our job as a board is to determine, is the curriculum correct or not? So based on that, I think that the team here has done an excellent job of demonstrating that they have met our desire to have a new math curriculum that meets our strategic needs. So for that reason, I'm definitely going to vote yes on this. I'm excited about this. I've been in the classrooms. I guess the last thing I would say is that when I witness the kids in these classrooms, they're fully engaged. They're excited about solving these complex problems. And dare I say it, I saw the wonder, joy, and beauty of mathematics coming out of our kids. And I remember harassing my team about, you're never going to have a middle schooler who sees the wonder, joy, and beauty of mathematics. And yet I saw it in front of my faces. And that really made me a believer. And so I'm really excited about the new curriculum and excited to vote yes on it. So that's my take. All right. All right. At this point, I think we can move to a vote. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Yes. Opposed, say no.
No.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-1. Okay. We'll take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll move to our business items. Okay, Okay, we're going to move to item 8. We have business A, B, C, D, and E. Mr. West. Oh, he's there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
More to the
Really
district
wants to
than
go
man.
home.
Okay.
We have 5 business items for your consideration tonight. As I always do, preface it with we've been over these at the workshop in detail, and you've had an opportunity to digest the material. So we will start with 8A, consideration for the SEC contract. Secure Education Consultants will provide Troy School District with a director of security along with comprehensive prevention-focused safety and security programs. We recommend approving a 4-year contract. I think a little bit more detail is probably needed here for public consumption. There was an assessment done in the school district over in January, given state dedicated funds for such an assessment. And as we digested it and the board digested it in a closed session a couple weeks ago, our chief priority was that we needed specific leadership in this area. For the district to digest the report and make the action plans and implementation plans. And as such, we have been in communication and negotiations with SEC and recommend that we go ahead and enter into a contract where they provide a director of security that will be in the district on a daily basis beginning July 1st. So that is the backstory of this program. It also, there are wraparound services as it relates to security, and there is a component for consultation with our behavioral threat assessment too, so that it's a large component of this as well. So we recommend the following action.
Okay, great. We're being asked to consider the hiring of a contract for security consultants for the district. May I have a resolution, please? Ms. Alish?
Be it therefore resolved that the Troy Board of Education authorize administration to proceed with finalizing 4-year contract with Secure Education Consultants for the purpose of providing a director of security and other services as outlined in the agreement. This contract will be paid for with designated security dollars in the general fund.
Thank you. I have a resolution by Ms. Alish, supported by Dr. Wilson. Any questions or comments on this one?
I wanted to say thank you, Mr. West, for answering all of the questions about this, and I feel like it's a wonky thing because you want to keep security private, and so I just thank you for being willing to work with us so that we understand all of the ways that we can make sure our kids are safe.
Go ahead.
Is the contracting of these, are we also getting, I know we got funding from the state for the audit. Is there funding for us for this as well?
Yes, under section 97, 97, there are funds for security service. We got $109 per pupil this year. It is written into all 3 of the budgets for the 3 branches for next year as well. So we're looking at over a 36-month period that we're going to get dedicated funds for security services. So not only will we be able to purchase this service, we will be able to equip them with funds to implement a larger plan as well. Good. So we're excited about this opportunity.
Great, thank you.
Just for the general public purposes, I know in general we tend to get multiple bids and try and get the best bid. Can you explain why we didn't do that yet?
We actually did. We engaged with SafeEd and Secure Education Consultants, and we took proposals from both of them, interviewed 2 candidates, and felt, given the robust nature of Secure Education Consultants and their wraparound services, along with the behavioral threat assessment, that we would be well serviced with going with Secure Education Consultants.
Thank you.
Okay. Any others? I just want to thank you because this has really fallen mostly on your shoulders for a number of years here. And, it's on top of all the other stuff you've done. And you've done such an excellent job at it. But I was really excited to see an ability to lift this off your shoulders and put someone dedicated to the function. So it would be remiss not to say thank you for all the work that you've done and to keep us safe over the last couple of years here. So,
well, I certainly appreciate that. As you know, it's much more than me. It's a team effort, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
When do they start?
July 1st.
It was in the one piece. I don't think it was in this.
Yeah, it doesn't say here, but okay. Good. Okay, I think we can go for a vote here. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes. 8B. I
8B,
can't talk
consideration
anymore.
for network core replacement. The network core needs replacement to a model with more current security and routing functionality. Competitive pricing was obtained from the NCPA contract. Pricing was reviewed by Beth Soggs, Director of Technology. It's recommended the bid be awarded as stated below.
Okay, thank you for being asked to replace our network core.
Mr. Haupt.
Mr. Haupt, thank you. I'm getting tired. Okay, yeah.
Be it therefore resolved that the purchase of the core switch replacement.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Be it
Sorry,
therefore
Matt.
resolved that the purchase of the core switch replacement and DNA appliance be awarded to People Driven Technology in the amount of $64,386.75, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund.
You're just doing it to me, you two. Okay, I have a resolution by Mr. Haupt, supported by Mr. Hoff. Any questions or comments on this? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Thank you. Resolution passes. 8C.
8C, copier lease approval. Technology and Business Services have been conducting a review of its existing copiers and installations. As a result of this review, it's recommended the district enter into lease and maintenance agreements as stated below.
Okay, we're being asked to enter into a new copier lease agreement. Miss Anay.
Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education of Troy School District, as recommended by the administration, hereby authorizes, is that one? Yeah, authorizes the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute an equipment lease agreement for the purpose of leasing a fleet of copiers for a period no greater than 4 years at a monthly cost not to exceed $12,809.00. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education of Troy School District, as recommended by the administration, hereby authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute a cost per copy maintenance agreement with Applied Innovations not to exceed $0.00368 per impression for monochrome copiers for a period not to exceed 4 years, and that these amounts be approved as expenditure of the general fund.
Support.
Thank you. I have a resolution by Ms. Anay, supported by Dr. Philippart. Any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Thank you. We have new copier lease.
Excellent, thank you.
8D.
Consideration for iPad purchases. It's recommended that the following resolution to purchase additional iPads be approved. Pricing was obtained from the REMC bid.
Okay, we're being asked to continue iPad purchasing replacement. I have a resolution. Dr. Philippart.
Be it therefore resolved that the district purchase iPad and cases from Apple Computers in the amount of $855,533, and that these amounts be approved as an expenditure of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund.
Support.
A resolution by Dr. Philippart, supported by Ms. Anay. Are any questions or comments on this one? Mr. Hoff?
What happens to the ones that are being replaced? The old ones, are they set up for auction?
We have had success selling those in the past to a dealer. So Beth Soggs works with a dealer, and she looks for opportunities to sell those back for use.
There's actually multiple vendors that buy them back.
Okay.
And so
We've been very successful.
Yeah, she gets
at that.
upwards of $50 an iPad, which is pretty significant.
Okay.
There you go.
What grades are these replacing?
4th and 9th.
4th and 9th, okay. And that's just our regular cycle?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. Thank you. We have new iPads. 8E.
And elementary security cameras. The RFP was issued to solicit bids for security cameras for the elementary schools. Bids were reviewed by Beth Soggs, Technology Director, and it's recommended the contract be awarded as stated below. I will mention that given the security assessment and stuff that we just talked about, and working with Chris Griefer and the elementary principals, it was identified that they needed more coverage in the elementary buildings with security cameras, and that was prioritized with the bond fund. So that's where this came from, the rationale came from.
Is this our first purchase for the 2023? It's near,
No.
oh.
No, you.
I've approved
Well, you just
many
did.
and I just don't remember.
The iPads
Okay.
were just-
Sorry, my brain is cooked. It's too hot in here. So, okay. We're being asked to purchase new elementary security cameras. May I have a resolution? Dr. Wilson.
Be it therefore resolved that the purchase of security cameras be awarded to Security Designs in the amount of $577,967, and that this amount be approved as an expenditure of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund.
Support.
Thank you for resolution by Dr. Wilson, supported. I'm going with Mr. Hopt on this one. Good. Are there any, you already read that. And let's see. Did I already do
Comments.
comments? Any questions or comments? Anything? These are all new, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Thank you. All those in favor, please say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Thank you. We have new elementary security cameras. Thank you, Mr. West.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one public communication on a non-agenda item.
I think she's left.
Maybe announce.
Katie McFarland.
Has she left?
Yeah, she's out in the hallway, but, or she was.
She won.
Okay, well, she's not here. Okay, that takes us to other.
I think she left.
So I guess the only other I have is just to remind everyone that the Troy Foundation for Educational Excellence is hosting its annual golf fundraiser, which will take place on, look at here, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 at a new venue. So we're not going to be golfing in Troy. We're going to be golfing at the Greystone Golf Club in Washington Township, which I understand is a pretty nice course. So early bird pricing, I guess is actually missed early bird pricing. So it's $150 per golfer. And 8 o'clock registration, 9:30 shotgun start. So if you or any of your colleagues are interested, you can contact the foundation and sign up. That should be a great day. And of course, thank you to this board for rearranging our board meeting so that we don't have a conflict. I have my golf clubs already, but I don't think I'm going to be swinging.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, so.
Well, you may as well tell us. So what's your, did you have the do you have surgery scheduled?
Well, the physician, or the surgeon, and this is really interesting, to have a surgeon say surgery is the backup plan.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's
they
a good
casted
thing
it.
to hear.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear. So
Yeah.
it's casted, 2 weeks, they'll take the cast off, look if there's any more dislocation. If it looks good, they'll put the cast back on, and I'll be in this probably for another 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, all right.
If not, then I'll go into surgery, but. I'm not-
Either way, you're probably not golfing.
Yes, either way, I'm probably not golfing.
So,
Will there
okay.
be raffles at this outing? as well?
There's a silent auction items, so what they've done in the past is you buy so many tickets and you stick them in the baskets. Yeah, so that's another thing, any board member, that if you have a relationship with a business or something that you'd like to donate, they'd be more than happy to, take donations for silent auction.
Great. Mr. Hopp?
In honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, I just want to say thank you to both of you for all of your answering questions and having multiple presentations. It's a lot of work. I do appreciate you both and everybody that was here but that left to go home. I also wanted to call out the PTOs of all the schools and the students who have done an excellent job of making sure that their teachers feel loved last week. I know there's a lot of coffees and a lot of different things that they did, so I just want to appreciate the community actually showing their love. So.
Great, okay. Ms. Anne?
I don't have anything else other than thank you for everything you've been doing. We appreciate it.
Great. Ms. Alish?
I don't have anything else to add tonight.
Mr. Hoff?
I'm proud to say 3 Troy students, as I have read in the paper, have been honored as presidential scholars. The Troy High seniors Deepti Agrawal and Ria Dutta and Sanat Shu have been named one of the 629 semifinalists in the 2023 U.S. Presidential Scholars. This is a huge program. Over 5,000 candidates were expected to graduate from the high schools, and we have 3 wonderful students who were honored as presidential scholars. So this is a high achievement and something that this district is very proud of. So congratulations to all three of these ladies.
Great, thank you. Dr. Wilson.
I just wanted to give kudos to Thomas Butcher and the Creative Guild for putting on an excellent event this past weekend that actually united high schools. It was really fun to be able to go to the open air music and art festival and see students from Troy High and Athens perform. I know they invited, there was some displays from TCCHS students. I know IA was invited, but I think they're too engrossed in their exams right now to do it. But it was just really neat to be able to see a cross-district event where students got to have opportunities to showcase their talent. And it was really fun hearing adults there saying how much they wished their high schools had had something like that when they were young. And so I was able to go to the event at TCCHS on Friday and then go to the one for the whole district on Saturday, and just to be able to see how much artistic and musical talent we have is just encouraging to see students living into the wholeheartedness of who they are. And so it was just a really great inaugural event, and I look forward to being able to attend more of those in the future. And I do echo my colleague's sentiment that we are really grateful for our amazing, dedicated, faithful teachers.
Okay, great. Dr. Macheski.
Just to update the board, we're just about done with our spring updates for staff and PTO. We have a couple yet this week, and we have a couple next week. And that will wrap that up for the year. Kiwanis is having their annual fundraiser, which is a wine tasting this Thursday from 6 to 8:30 at the Troy Historical Center. So if anyone has an interest in attending, you can go online to Troy Kiwanis and purchase tickets that way, or you can buy them at the event on Thursday at the Troy Historical Museum. First time they're holding it there, so I think it's should be a great venue.
What's the funds used for?
The funds are used for, typically, they donate monies back to schools. They're all student-related supports that they provide. Many of those go to Troy School District students, programs.
They give a scholarship.
They give scholarships, yeah. So it's, I happen to be a member of Kiwanis, and so just letting you know that it's a great opportunity. It sounds like it's going to be a nice day on Thursday as well, so be outside.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
The only thing I have is to announce the next meetings. So June 6th is our board workshop, starting with a special meeting at 5 p.m. That's a closed session for superintendent review. And followed by at 6 o'clock with the regular board workshop, and that will be at central office. And then our June board meeting is a little bit different. It's going to be on June 13th, and it's going to be at Troy High immediately following the TCCHS graduation. So it's going to be in the media center at Troy High, and it will not be recorded because we don't have an ability to get recording set up for that room.
Same time though, 7
Same,
p.m.?
yeah, 7. Well, it might be a little bit late depending on the commencement starts at 6. Usually it runs about an hour, hour and 15, I think. So it might be closer to 7:15 or 7:30 before we're there, but we'll get there as fast as we can. What?
Are the bagpipers going to come?
Well, we'll have them do instead of Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have them do
play the national
Amazing Grace. We'll have them play that for us before we start. Okay, that's it. I don't have anything else other than thank you. I've never seen such good people get beaten up so badly for so long. So appreciate everything that you do for us.
Carl, I'd like to thank Donna Havrilla.
Yeah, Donna, thank you. Oh, Judy owes you flowers and candy and chocolate and, that Judy.
I've been making my list.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but thank you, Donna. Thank you for that, yeah. Okay, that's it. Class dismissed.
Here's all my notes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Okay, thank you.